what Grundy did.
No, the only issue was the umpire threw the ball up and it went straight to Grundy, so he didn't have to move.
No, so if we change the wording of it, not change the intention, if we just change the wording of it, that you can't cross the line until you contest the ball, doesn't that...
Just don't worry about the line.
How does Madden contest the ball in that...
Just don't worry about the line.
If he's not allowed to cross the line until he contest, how does he contest the ball in that scenario?
Just make it that the two players have to contest the ball. Because the umpire should have either blown his whistle and thrown it back up again.
We don't want that.
Play on.
We don't want that. We just want a bit of common sense. If the umpire throws it half a foot off line...
It's not that common, Andy.
No, I know, JJ. But I think if Swanee comes out and says, OK, we've done this, and if our upshot of this is that the umpire's going to try and throw it perfectly straight every time, but if they get it half a foot or a foot off line, they are the ruckman who has to, in inverters, cross the line. He's going to be given the latitude to do that, and the umpire will make the adjustment on the fly. We are not going to be penalising ruckmen who are responding to an offline throw by the umpire. If we get to that, and that becomes the practical...
Easy, isn't it?
Straightforward. No, are you saying that facetiously?
No, I'm saying that solves all the
I think it's totally easy. So that way, don't worry, it doesn't become... It becomes contesting the ball. That becomes the key definer for the umpire, not where the line is and
putting your foot over the line.
Yeah, and I think that makes it pretty straightforward.
Was it Madden the other ruckman? Yeah. So he couldn't have got to the ball without giving a free kick away.
Not under that writing. And JJ, last night, I don't know how much of that game you watched, but we called it. Grundy had him absolutely on a string. Like, he was playing with... He was up against Riccardi and a kid who's never played at that level against a ruckman of his quality. And he was jumping early and just giving it to his midfielders on an absolute plate. As the game wore on and the ground got a bit slipperier, he was mucking around, Grundy. He was trying a few things.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I probably think the ruckman will get to a... I think they'll honestly, like guys like Darcy Cameron and Rowan Marshall, he's another one I didn't think of in the moment. I just think they'll get to a gentleman's agreement and they'll just end up shoulder to shoulder. They just will. There's so many ruckmen who don't want to be jumping and leaping, and there's a lot of midfield coaches who don't really want their ruckmen jumping and leaping because often they end up out of position or on the ground. They'd rather that controlled jump or the body to body, and a lot of the body to body is so the ruckman can still be involved at ground level. So look, I've planted my flag. I think it's got the potential to get real twisted real quick. Hopefully you're right.
But you said before that the umpire won't be watching the line. Why can't the umpire watch the line? He's not bending down to bounce it anymore.
No, but there's an aerial
he should be looking at the line.
But there's an aerial aspect to the contest as well. I mean, if that
comes after the line decision.
If I know he's looking down at my feet, then there's opportunities to grab all sorts of jumpers and arms, and that's where we saw some of the free kicks from last year, where Coxie pushes me in the chest and didn't get the ball. Look, we've probably spent enough on it, and it's one that I normally don't care about this stuff as much, but I honestly believe it's got the potential just to be a bit of a nonsense because of what a free kick in the centre bounce can do.
I think it'll clean up. I think it'll settle down. And what I've seen in the last couple of days, I mean, the game last night and on occasion here this afternoon, was you can get some really clean, crisp takeaways that go to the top of the square, or you can almost run in and have a shot. Like Noah Anderson took the ball out of the centre. They had 2 or 3 chain handballs, and he ran into 50 and blasted one in the first 45 seconds of the game. So I think once we iron out these creases, that you're right, that it is going to switch from the Paddy Cripps style of player of this world to like the Caleb Windsors that we've seen tonight, and Cozzy Pickett bursting out of centre bounce and using that space and taking that grass in front of you. And we're going to see some really clean, crisp takeaways from centre bounce, and those players who have strength and speed in the contest are going to be ultra important in the next couple of years.
Hey, JJ, just pivoting a bit, talking about confusing, can you just explain your take on Hawthorn? Because I'm a bit confused about a couple of things you said that absolutely contradict each other.
Just run them by me again.
Well, you said said there's only 3 teams that can win the flag, and Hawthorn were not in it, and then you've done your ladder, And at the end of the home and away, Hawthorn are 20-3 and on top. So I'm a bit
I thought
confused.
that was an offline.
I bought it online.
Pub chat.
Last time I checked, this is not the EPL. You don't win the premiership
I
because you win.
understand that. But it'd be
finish on
unusual
top.
to rule out a team that's 20-3.
Straight sets.
It happened last year, didn't it, with Adelaide? They finished on top, and that did squat diddly for them. Look, Hawthorn are a very, very good team, but if you're asking me to seed them or to discuss whether I think they'd beat a Brisbane in a grand final or a Gold Coast for that matter, or maybe even a Fremantle, I maintain they're a Zach Merritt short. And at the moment, they're a Zach Merritt and a Will Day short. And they might get Will Day back, but they ain't getting Zach Merritt back. And I just don't think, unless McDonald...
They never had him.
Well, and that's my point. I didn't think they could win it last year. You can run the tape back if you like.
No, I agree with you.
Julian.
I remember you saying that.
And they haven't really changed. Now, their aim, and they know it, is I've seen Weddle in there at different stages. McDonald is going to be in there, I think, at the start of the game.
He is.
Said
Yeah,
Mitchell
he
was
said
happy
that
to
today.
give away. But I still don't know whether guys who are going to pinch hit are going to be enough to tip them over the edge either. I still think they need McDonald to maybe go from a flanker who comes up for 4 centre bounces a game to someone they have to have in there because he's so good.
Josh Ward might be a very good player by the end of the year.
Yeah, he might be. He's a young player, but he got found out badly in that prelim final. Their midfielders did not touch the ball in the prelim final. And look, it's one game. I mean, we've all played terrible games of footy when you've been needed the most. But I don't know. I just don't love. I love their whole team. I love their makeup. I love their coach. Tactically, they're amazing. One of my old teammates, Dave McKay, does a great job alongside Sam Mitchell as his stoppage and tactician. They've got everything. I just think they're a gun midfielder short.
Yeah, I think that's a fair. If you're trying to identify one serious area of weakness,
no doubt.
that's probably it.
The mob they're going up against aren't a midfielder short, so maybe they could lend them one.
No, but they're just short in other areas.
Yes,
And
that's why I don't think they can win it either. I don't think. I mean, they haven't really changed their. And Kuhn spoke about it well. Their issues or their change is going to have to come from structure and tactics, because it hasn't come from personnel either. So they're both fascinating teams to me. They're both definite finals contenders. Hawthorn have got top 4 ambitions. Don't know what the Dogs are. There's plenty of people around willing to throne them and to suggest that they are a top 4 team. I still think they are what they are. They are what their record has said they are over the last 3 or 4 years, and until we see otherwise, that's how you can. That's the only way you can label them.
Can you try and find out what's wrong with Sam Darcy for us, given the club's just saying general soreness? I wonder if we get
maybe
any.
Generally, he's just a little sore.
Which area of the body is he sore?
Just the general soreness.
General area.
Come on.
I was generally sore from moving house a couple of weeks ago, but
Gee, nice pad that you've set up though in East Geelong.
Is that right?
Oh boy.
I don't know what he's.
You let me in the shed last week. Wasn't allowed
It
to
is
go
a
in the
nice
house.
pad, Adam. You're
Had to
more
go
than
through the
welcome
doggy door.
You're more than welcome to the bill too. I don't know. I mean, I'm more than happy to leave him out of tonight's assignment, and he's doesn't need to be exposed to more footy than he needs. So
It'll be good for Croft to get some flying hours tonight anyway in Darcy's absence. He did some nice things early last week in the game against Sydney, and it'll be. I mean, he's just throws him. He's another one of those players that's a bit untapped.
yeah,
he's got real talent.
He's super athlete. I don't know if Croft, Darcy, and Norton is what you want it to look like, because you need to give Riley West his opportunities isolated from time to time. Like, yes, he's short, but in one-on-one situations, he's dynamic. He can overpower opponents, and you like to sort of keep some space for him as well. So it'd be interesting to see how they try and move all those guys around.
I agree.
Yeah, we're just about done.
Here we've got about a minute to go. Did you see any of the game today there, JJ, or you were in traffic?
No, I was driving up from Geelong to the Whitten Oval, and I didn't see any of it, but it was good to see the D's score. I tell you what, having to go and train.
That's got whiskers all over it, that idea.
And what was your
The
highlight
worst
of
training session
our
of the
call
year.
on the way up, JJ?
Yeah, what was your highlight of the call?
The ads.
That's just
Take one,
nasty.
70 minutes.
That's just
Good luck, Coxie, hanging around with that bloke for the next couple of hours, mate. All the best.
Thank you for putting him in a cherry ripe mood.
You
guys.
guys didn't have to call us.
Go get him,
You didn't have
fellas.
to call a 70-minute quarter like we did. Unbelievable. We're
There's
bucking.
3 of you. There's only 2 of us.
We're tonguing. Well, that's just about it. So we saw 2.5 quarters and pretty good from the Demons. 12-6-78. Tigers 6-7-43. 6-7. That's right. Oh, don't do that. Please don't do that. We hand over to the Whitten Oval. Matthew Cox and Josh Jenkins. Dogs and Hawks.
This is the 2026 AFL Community Series on AFL Nation. Thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
Subscribe to SEN Sports on YouTube for all the best analysis from SEN's team of experts. Watch your favourite radio shows from inside the studio. Search for SEN and subscribe today.
$1 million shot! How do you like that? Oh my goodness! The superstars rise when the occasion comes.
The 2026 AFL Community Series on AFL Nation. Thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
Yes, good evening officially from the Whitten Oval as we prepare for the Western Bulldogs and Hawthorn this evening. Matthew Cox alongside Josh Jenkins, for those just tuning in and wondering what happened up the road at Mars Stadium in Ballarat. Game called off halfway through the third quarter. Melbourne were up by 35 points. A couple of delays for lightning, and that also saw the game brought to an early conclusion. The weather here at the Whitten Oval, JJ, it is steamy. It's gloomy out to the northwest, but for the time being, we're okay here. We're under lights. They're already in full effect, but the weather seems to be holding off for the time being.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to be here, Coxie. Looking forward to been catching plenty of the footy thus far. Wednesday night was a reasonable game, a good hit out from the Blues. Geelong didn't sort of offer too much, and I thought the footy last night was pretty solid as well. But I think this will be the game of the pre-season series thus far. Again, I just think there's enough certainly from the Dogs' perspective in regards to what they want to improve upon, that tonight's too good of an opportunity to waste that. If you're a Brisbane or a Geelong and have been there and done that, you can probably afford to roll through a night like this and then expect to flick the switch. But the Dogs have been more than open, and the world has been certainly critical of the way they haven't defended and what they haven't been able to do when they haven't got the ball in their hands. So keen to see what it looks like tonight. Some whispers about English potentially, dropping back a bit more often and trying to help in the air. So that's going to be a great watch as well. And look, a really, really deep and powerful midfield against the midfield who I think probably lacks one. And that's going to be a fun thing to follow tonight as well. But all in all, this should be a really good game.
It should be, particularly if the weather does hold off. For the Western Bulldogs, you kind of alluded to it there, the setting of the tone for the season. Over the last couple of years, the Bulldogs haven't got off to the best of starts, and it's kind of set the tone for the year. You want to finish, even if, okay, the first half you're a bit quiet, but you want to finish the second half in particular to springboard you into the opening round matchup, which is against the Brisbane Lions at the Gabba next week.
Yeah, and that's going to be a cracking contest. I'm going up for that one. Can't wait for it, because the Lions are going to be unfurling a flag. They're right for the picking in that moment. And the Dogs, if you're a Dogs fan, and there are plenty here, there are plenty of Hawks fans here too. It's a really well attended game, in fact. But if you're a Dogs fan, yes, you're going to the reigning premiers home next week, but I tell you what, you should be going there expecting to win that game. And in a way, if you want to call it, pinching one, whatever, however you want to describe it, you're spot on. They need to use tonight to be fully wound up. And I think the best way to go about that is to play 2.5, 3 quarters of really good footy, and then you can take the foot off the brake. Then you can, play around with your rotations and play a few of your kids, and you bring Bont off and you bring, Richards off, and you go about it that way. But I agree, they don't have a lot of room to move here, because they've got the tough game against Brisbane next week. And, I mean, Hawthorn, with what's happening in Western Sydney with all their injuries, that game is almost starting to look like a game they should just be winning. So it is a different... I mean, I never played when I was playing, it was always a gap between this game and your first game. So I guess in the back of your mind as a player, you really don't want to put next week at risk. So that's another thing to think about.
And particularly for the Dogs, after the Lions, they've got the Giants at Marvel and then Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval before they get that early season bye, courtesy of participating.
And it almost dictates your season, doesn't it, one way or the other in a way. Like, if you get to 2-1, having played that schedule, you're feeling really, really good about yourself. But, I mean, there is a world where you can go winless in that first 3 weeks. You set yourself back, a lot against the teams in the top 8 and the top 4, or the top 6 and the top 4. But, you lose a lot of confidence along the way. So, yeah, tonight's a really, really important night for both teams.
We kind of spoke about it before when we were chatting to the other crew that were doing the previous match, the role at half-back and who fills that role, particularly given there's no Bailey Dale. So he's out through a knee injury. The update regarding whether or not that he's going to be back in action, I think is still up in the air for the early phase of the season. So it's not looking promising. It means that there's a gap coming off half-back. Who are you slotting into that role?
It's a significant gap too, because he takes every kick in. He probably gets one in every 3 or 4 kick-ins back as well for a little handball receive. So often when Dale brings the ball back in, he gets 2 possessions and you're at the wing. Now, even if it goes out of bounds, it's still a great opportunity for you to reset and get some field position, because ultimately kick-ins are about getting some field position. You're not trying to score. I mean, teams score 5% or less on average from kick-ins. So I wouldn't mind seeing Sanders roll back there a little bit. He's just not getting enough midfield opportunity. So, seeing him roll back there from time to time. Fraser's got really good touch. I love the way he kicks the footy, particularly with the ability to hit the short and in between targets. So, those guys are both with the midfielders at the moment, but wouldn't surprise me to see them roll back. And I'm not really sure what else they can do in terms of, personnel. Oscar Baker maybe could look to roll back a little bit more as a winger.
Bramble?
But, mate, Bramble's a good player back there. So Dale is certainly going to be a void. If they don't have him, you think about what Brisbane have got with Zorko and Fletcher and Wilmot. They've got 3 elite running defenders, maybe 4 if Kadeem Coleman can get himself up and going. So they've got them left, right and centre, whereas the Dogs might almost have to sort of have a bit of a makeshift half-back line.
What about from the Hawks' perspective? Coming into tonight, again, you can't read too much in the match simulation that we've seen, but a strong-ish performance against the Cats, given the group that they cobbled together for that. And then tonight's the Cal Shadir conversation we've already touched on this evening. Ned Reeves is not participating either, was listed as an emergency, and we've seen him walking around just down in front of us in the build-up to this match. So a couple of intriguing selection decisions, and again, placing the magnets, I think, is going to be the biggest issue for them, not just tonight, but across the early phase of the season.
Yeah, for sure. And there's been a lot of discussion, and we've even heard some people from within clubs talk about what does the 5th person on the bench look like? What does that player look like? And, the Hawks have probably toyed with 2 rucks. I just think Reeves and Meek are too similar to play them in the same team. I just think unless Meek can potentially, because I think worst case scenario when you're thinking about the 5th player on the bench, and I'm thinking, what happens if you lose a runner and you've got 2 rucks? You're almost back to where you were with the sub. You don't want both rucks on the ground, so you've got 3 runners on the bench, and you've got to leave one of those ruckmen on the bench at all times. So I would prefer to use another runner, and I think most teams will use another runner. But you're open-minded. Sam Mitchell was more than happy to play 4 tall forwards last year and give it a go. I think you'll see the rucks both play in the same team at different stages, but ultimately, if you ask me to put money on it later in the year, I think they definitely go with Meek and then maybe Ochol, who's a more than capable backup ruck.
Which, is that a risk given what we saw happen the other night with Shannon Neal for the Cats and the injury concern associated with this centre ball issue? Is using a forward in that capacity a risk now for the centre ball up?
Maybe, but I mean there were backup rucks, before we got to the point where the rucks weren't really jumping at all. So I think it's just a part and parcel of the game. I mean, you're probably just as likely to get injured, in an aerial contest down the line. You do a lot more of those as a key forward than you do a ruck contest. So I think it's just part and parcel of the game. the other thing we've got to remember around the ruck stuff is, and you know, I got a bit wound up about it. Even if you've got a Tom De Koning and you say, well, this is going to suit us down to the ground, the actual centre ball up is 1% of the game. You still got to go and do other stuff in the game, and that stuff is more important than what happens in the centre. So there's a lot to play out. The new rules, what they are going to do is, I think they're going to take some time for the game and the clubs to evolve and work out how they want to tackle all of them.
Yeah, I agree with that. After witnessing last night's game, there were a few dubious ones. There was one where two players didn't stand the mark while they were in that vicinity, getting used to that. You can't get beyond that 5 metres anymore.
Yep,
So
yep. I love that rule.
Yep.
Yeah, love it. And that was an unintended consequence with clubs all wanting to get back off the mark, other clubs wanting to be on the mark, and then in the end the clubs were saying, well, hey, I told you I was going to get back off the mark. Well, sorry, the rules stand. Now it is just stand, and I like that, and I think it's good for the game.
I agree with that. The one part I don't like about this centre ball up, because we can't call it the centre bounce anymore, the fact that the line doesn't go all the way across. Jared Healy's been big on this, and I'm now following suit. How can you adjudicate a rule if the line doesn't go all the way across?
Imaginary line, isn't it? Well, AAMI pay a lot of money to have their logo right there, smack bang. So, we'll see who wins out, money or the integrity of the game.
Yeah, I've got a feeling I know which.
Tipping?
Yeah, probably money into the game. I know the commercial realities of things these days, JJ.
No money, no us.
Marcus Bontempelli won the toss there, going to the northern end of the ground, which is where the big Western Bulldogs emblem is ablaze, a part of this training facility. The Hawks will be kicking to the southern/railway/hill end of the ground.
The Westgate Bridge end. It's a fantastic setting for footy tonight.
And the crowd is not quite jam-packed, but we're getting close to it. We're underway here at the Whitten Oval. Meek tried to go the shove. There's already a whistle and a free kick going the way of the Western Bulldogs. Bontempelli sends it inside 50. Norton flying. Couldn't bring it in. Ball at ground level. Liberatore got the handball out to Norton. Inboard searching for Davidson. Snaps it across his body. First goal on the board inside 25 seconds for the Western Bulldogs. They're 1 straight 6. Hawks yet to score, all thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts. Wasn't clean, JJ, but it was effective.
It was very effective. It was the dream start. The centre bounce free kicks, or centre throw up free kick. You're just going to have to forgive us on that all year, probably. To Bontempelli, it was a little bit of a jumper tug. I think it was Newcomb who was the offender there, and Bont was straightforward in what he wanted to do, and it does show the importance, and that's why I was harping on about ruck free kicks. You see there at ground level, Bont gets a free kick, takes him 2 or 3 seconds to get the ball back, and he still is able to pump it in there and put the Hawthorn defence under some pressure. And Kennedy was the one who started at centre bounce, and he was hovering a little bit more, and that's what I'm looking for tonight. Which dogs are paying more attention to the defensive side of the game?
So the Dogs lead by 6 early. Newcomb got the handball out to Watson, who's starting in the middle. Sends it inside 50 for the Hawks. Getting hands to it. Jacks couldn't complete the mark. Karmas gave it up. A couple of handballs. Bramble. Matt Kennedy to the outer side of the ground. Was searching out there for Hines. Doesn't get a kind bounce. Tracking it towards the boundary line. Attempting to keep it in. D'Ambrosio gets the handball up to Impey. When searching back for D'Ambrosio, ball cut off. Liberatore part of the chain of handballs. Hines, Ed Richards to the outside. Sanders saw off McDonald, got it back to Richards, who runs the right half forward. Sends it to Norton, who essentially took an uncontested mark there, JJ.
Yeah, because of the kick, it was a magical kick from Richards. He was running. When you know you've got that level of power and balance, You've got the confidence to kick it where you like, but Norton was leading back to goal. It was an awkward angle for Norton. He was trying to give Richards a bit of space, but in the end, Richards identified the space as much as Norton did. And again, the Bulldogs' quick hands set that up.
After playing for WA a couple of weeks ago, got the Bulldogs Guernsey back on tonight. Doesn't have the accuracy, though, with his first kick and slams it into the post.
It's just not a. If it was a golf swing, it just got a little hitch in that kicking motion, doesn't he? He's improved a lot as a goal kicker, but and that's part of the reason I wouldn't love him down back. He's just not a super reliable kick.
Dogs by 7. They caused the turnover at right half forward. The wind has dropped here too. The Bulldogs flag that's on the other side of the ground is non-existent at the moment. Ball inside 50. It's sticky and steamy. A nice mark taken by Mraz inside defensive 50. No Tom Barras tonight with the back issue coming out of that Origin game. They're hopeful that he'll be part of the opening round action next week.
It was a good mark from Mraz. A good size, 198, so 6'6". He can handle the big key forwards, and that was a really nice mark in from the side.
Sicily to Impey, who's put it out on the full on the Doug Hawkins wing. Although that banner's covered up tonight by another sign. Maybe getting a lot of coverage on the ground.
They are. Well, it is the AAMI Community Series.
It is indeed. Ball inside 50. Davidson going up. Impey got in his way. Davidson did well to get back up quickly in the contest against Sicily. Took him over the line, and in fact he's going to get rewarded with a free kick.
Yeah, I think the tackle forced an incorrect disposal from the Hawks skipper, and just a little bit off the pace, the Hawks, which is not a big surprise. Is that one team to be a little bit more wound up and fizzed up than the other, so the Hawks will be keen to get some hands on the footy and just calm things down just a little.
In front of a packed area of the ground in terms of fans, that kick went straight down the throat of Weddle at the top of the defensive goal square for the Hawks. He tried the set-up kick there, Davidson, and it didn't quite work. Weddle short to Battle, back pocket broadcast side. Short to Hardwick. Still inside defensive 50. Wants Mraz to spread a bit and now goes to him. All nice, short kicks. Nice tight defensive bubble from the Dogs. So you talk defensively about making the ground as small as you can, and that's in terms of where all the bodies are. As the kick goes to the centre wing, English got the fist. Hawks, though, able to propel it forward. Karmas, though, greets the ball and takes the intercept mark, defensive side of the broadcast wing. Dogs by 7 as we tick towards 5 minutes. Karmas gets the 1-2, sends it long inside 50. Too much on it for Croft. The Hawks defenders got in each other's way. Comes out the back. Croft kept his feet and puts it through. Dogs are 2-1-13. Hawthorn are yet to score as we tick over 5 minutes into the opening term. All thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts. And that could be an early, unmissable moment. Choose to drink wise. Yes, well called. I was going to say the same thing myself. And just Sicily coming back. I mean, you can't knock the effort of the captain there, but he did knock Josh Battle right off his feet there. Battle's been able to get straight up, but Sicily even in play looked back just to make sure he was okay. So all's well that ends well from a health perspective, but Croft just showing his versatility at ground level there. And I mean, he picked that ball up like he was 188. He's got inches on Battle, so he's another tantalising prospect for the Dogs, like they need another one down there. I was going to say, the question then is, how do they fit them all in? No Sam Darcy tonight. He's back underway in the middle. Newcomb and Bontempelli going after it. Bontempelli got a very awkward handball away. Scrappy at ground level. Butterick knocking it forward for the Dogs. West arrives on the scene. Caught by McKenzie, who stripped him and then got stripped himself. Ward ended up with the footy. Got the handball to McDonald. It's a low ball inside 50. Watson did well to get to it, but didn't take the mark. Karmas over the top. Butterick retreating ground with a kick to Bramble just to settle things inside defensive 50 for the Dogs. Butterick's one who's going to get that opportunity, isn't he, down back with Gold Coast? Just couldn't quite crack in. That's aggressive. Yeah, and it doesn't pay off. Newcomb gets in the way, and a short little kick to Ginnivan, who's slightly right of centre, 48 out. And they're the ones for the Dogs. You can forget about what your team defence looks like. If you turn those types of kicks over, you can't defend them, because most of the team is trying to join in the attack there, and you go for that car door window and you don't hit it, well, it's coming back with interest. So Jack Ginnivan wearing a glove, courtesy of the finger issue that he's had in the last few weeks of the pre-season, gets Hawthorn's first. They're on the board, 1 straight 6, trailing the Dogs 2-1-13, 7.5 minutes played here at the Whitten Oval, all thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts. Nice finish from Ginnivan. It was also a good finish in terms of the connection inside 50 from Newcomb, just the ability to take some weight off that kick. He was under a fair bit of pressure as well. He was the one also who almost intercepted the footy and was able to regather, and beautiful kick inside 50 to Ginnivan. I think Newcomb's kicking has been underrated for some time. Probably not now. Most of us have seen enough of him. Just early stages, Connor McDonald and his role. He starts
as a midfielder. He looks a midfielder that's really eager to get outside and get forward of the ball. So it's going to be an interesting player to watch and see how that role pans out as well.
There's English with a big fly, went down the throat of Nash, who got it to Meek. All good handball, missed its intended target. Fraser pounces, gets it to Matt Kennedy. Long ball inside 50. It's a high one. Norton flew late. Mraz got in his way. Jones spinning through, got collected. Hawthorn with the numbers to rebound out a defensive 50. Nash sends it to the centre wing. Karmas, though, reading it best. Got a mile on space on Gunston, who I think was trying to advance forward but took off too early. Karmas goes inboard with his kick to Butterick.
Yeah, Jack Gunston might be out here for the kilometres only, not necessarily needing to get involved in too many contests, but good start from Karmas.
He's currently on Bontempelli too. I don't know why he'd be doing that at his age. Kennedy inside attacking 50 for the Dogs. It was scooped up by Battle to Butler. Awkward kick for Watson. Got a push according to the umpire, so gets the free kick half back on the outer side. Not the distance to Butler. Goes back to Ward. Back to Watson, where it all started. Now the handball forward to Nash. Wants Butler. He gets clobbered. Liberatore got him. Nash on the scene for support. Tried to feed it across to D'Ambrosio, who had to kick it off the carpet. Ginnivan scoops it up, gives the handball to Ward. Tried to search back for Ginnivan, but it was cut off by Sanders. His handball slipped through the fingers of Rory Lobb, who's now trying to beat Lewis. Did so just in the nick of time. Got it to Sanders. Overhead handball. Not really sure where he was going. Bontempelli scoffed it up. Ended up back in the hands of Lewis, who screws it around, and it just evades Karmas on the line. Hawks move to 2 straight 12. Dogs 2-1-13. Almost 10 played opening term for Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
And we're having a look at the replay, and I mean, so Lobb's fumble, that happens, but you know, he flicks a handball. He probably has to. Sanders' handball is remarkably brave in D50, and Bontempelli also tries to flick it up with his left hand inside D50. They're two handballs that, I mean, the Dogs play that way, but that's a goal that I think that shouldn't be given away. There's no need for those type of handballs. If you have to take a tackle there, that's fine. Let's be able to bring our forwards up. Let's have a throw up and let's reset. I mean, that's just a little bit kamikaze, and that's how the Dogs have liked to have played over the past few years. So it's not a defensive issue, but it's maybe a game style issue in terms of wanting to flick the ball around too much.
It invited too much pressure.
Way too much.
And it overcooked them as the Hawks win this clearance. McKenzie received it from Ward. Long ball inside 50. Lob with a fist over the top of the contest. Knocked to ground, Moore in pursuit. It'll dribble over the boundary line and out of play. Edging into the left forward pocket for the Hawks, who trail by a point. 11 played opening term.
Last centre throw up ruck contest was interesting as well. One ruckman ships in the night, one ruckman not contesting the ball at all.
Did they cross the line though, JJ?
Well, there's no line, Matthew.
Thank you very much. Bontempelli got the handball away from the congestion. Hines went without it, put Sanders under pressure again. Libber slipped through his grasp too. Bontempelli uses English, who just whacks it on his boot, trying to get it out of danger. Norton and Croft got in each other's way. Norton goes to ground acrobatically in that contest. Hines comes up with it, gets it to Sanders. Dogs on the burst now, out of wing.
Yeah.
Fraser in space, takes the mark, wants to progress it forward. It's wide, bouncing into the pocket. Did no favours for Bailey Williams, who had all sorts of space around him. Ball over the line for a throw-in.
Give him a pump-up about his ball use. And Fraser, to his, I guess, to defend him, he knew that Williams was there, and he just had to get it over to him, but he skied that foot. He just couldn't get any angle on that kick. He was aiming to sort of snap it around the corner, and Williams would have walked in to an open goal, but he just couldn't quite get the angle on that kick.
Boundary throw in. Meek got down to West, who gets taken high and wins the free kick.
Good player, this guy. Really, really good player, and someone who's probably flourished with Cody Waitman not being in the team. They've had their troubles. Even when Waitman's been in the team, even the tall forwards have struggled a little bit, because Waitman can like to play some time as a small full forward. This guy can do it as well. He's incredibly powerful, strong player, very hard to tackle. He's a good tackler himself, good pressure player, and really seems to have embraced this role. presume he was expecting to be a midfielder at some point, but he's a very good small forward.
Yep, third in the goal kicking last year with 39 goals, played every game and gets his first tonight. Nice goal from 45 out on a 45-degree angle in the right forward pocket. And the Dogs regain a 7-point buffer. 3-1-19 plays 2 straight 12. 13 gone opening term for Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts. Do you see him evolving into more of a midfielder when Waitman comes back as they try and rejig that forward line?
I wouldn't be in a rush to do that. I just think he's too good as a small forward. He's a really, he creates a goal from nothing there. And look, it's a bit of a loose high free kick against the Hawks. There's probably more to do with the Hawks tackle technique than there was to do with Riley West, but he just creates opportunities, and he can take his turn competing in the air from time to time. So I like him down there, but I mean, there are games where he's had 4 touches in the first half. Of course, let's get him involved in the game and bring him up the ground.
So back in the middle, McDonald tried to soccer it forward, was interrupted. Bontempelli fed the handball to Jacks, who goes wide with the kick on the half volley. Williams accepts the challenge, sends it towards the outer side. Fraser trapped it in front of him, tried to use the handball again to Bramble, was a little awkward, but he's been able to recover. Flicks the handball across to Selwood. Goes down the line. Sicily interrupts Davidson. Ball over the boundary line and out of play. Centre wing outer side.
It's a good game of footy thus far. We've played 14.5 minutes and both teams have looked good attacking the footy. The Dogs have almost tipped a couple over defensively as well, which I'm sure Luke Beveridge and the crew are looking for tonight. There'd be probably only 2 or 3 things that both coaches are trying to get out of this game in terms of nailing, because it's only human nature that you're not necessarily going flat out.
Dogs win this clearance. Looping handball to Liberatore, right half forward, inside 50 with his kick. Croft 2 to beat, and the back. Baker just arrived on the scene at the right time. Puts it through for his first of the evening, and the Dogs move to 4-1-25. Hawthorn 2 straight 12 for Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
Bit of spoiling practice for Harry Morrison this week. He knew straight away he went up. He did the right thing. He was rolling back as the offside or the fat side winger. He played his role to perfection as Liberatore kicked it to the top of the square. He flies across and he just tried to punch it into the canteen, and all he needed was just to make connection with the ball, and it would have gone over the boundary line. So the important part was 9 times out of 10 he's played his role to perfection. He just didn't quite execute that spoil, and Baker was more than happy to oblige with a walk-in goal.
And that's okay in February when it doesn't mean too much.
Yeah.
So long as you get it right the next time.
Yeah, I think, and certainly his line coach will be saying, we love the fact you've rolled back and helped support us in defence.
Back in the middle, a bit scrappy from that ball up. Newcomb going to ground, got the handball to McKenzie. It's a high tumbling ball towards the top of the 50. Lobb got hands to it, and the umpire has awarded a free kick his way.
He's playing with confidence, this guy. I think he can be a real pillar for them defensively. The other aspect to his game that probably didn't recognise was his ability to kick the ball. He's a really nice kick out of defence.
There's some holding here, so a free kick going the way of Sicily's centre wing broadcast side.
Such a great one-on-one defender for a guy who's under 190. He's just got great timing and body work.
Just lobs this up looking for Lewis. Lob got in his path. Ball knocked over the boundary line and out of play for a throw in at right half forward for the Hawks.
We cross our fingers for a full season from Mitch Lewis. Just a big, powerful, dynamic athlete. He's almost like a thoroughbred in a way. He's maybe even too highly strung with the power and size that he has. He gets injured from time to time, but he's an impressive key forward when he can get up and going.
First full pre-season for about 3 years, I think it is, for Mitch Lewis. And he's come through it successfully. Butler at ground level got the handball to Wimpy, to Newcomb. Sends the kick inside 50 for the Hawks. Moore was attempting. Selwood over the top, knocked it into the path of Fraser. Trying to release Jones on the outer wing. Got caught in the marking contest. Scrimshaw came in for support for Hawthorn. Gets the handball to D'Ambrosio. Outer wing. Went looking for Ginnivan. Got brought down. Out the back, Moore's able to gather. Side steps to Ginnivan. Back to Moore. Still centre wing outer side. Little toe poke kick to McDonald. Didn't go the distance. So had to play on quickly. Weddle coming through, trying to get it back to Moore. They're now at left half forward. Weddle receives the handball, dumps the kick inside 50 for the Hawks. Everyone misses it. Karmas gets back, last line of defence. Gathers, puts it straight up the corridor, a little risky, and a little bit of holding or a high free kick going the way of Hawthorn. Infringing there was Jones, and winning the free kick was Bailey McDonald. As the Hawks send it inside 50. Ground level in dispute. Lewis got a handball out to Gunston, claimed by Karmas. Play on the call from the umpire, and then it's wrapped up edging into the right forward pocket for the Hawks.
That's the other rule that is going to be contentious. I think the shrug. So if you shrug, that's prior. I think that's going to be one that's going to cause us some troubles from time to time. And hopefully you can't get fined in the pre-season, because the field umpire went down there, tripped over a foot. So we don't need a player being 1,500 lighter in the practice match.
No. Well, there's already been a suspension offered out of
and rightly so, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was unnecessary, Jed Walter, as it's going to be locked up from the throw-in.
Certainly makes the discussion about Jamara's place within the team a lot easier, doesn't it, now that Jed Walter's not available for selection?
Particularly with well, Ethan Reid didn't play last night, expecting to come back in, but he's being utilised in a different role. As Karmas, some fancy footwork to get the Dogs out of defensive 50. Off hands, and again the handball's just a little too hot. Battle under pressure, lost control. Jones coming through at pace. Not an effective handball though. Impey to Weddle to right half forward for the Hawks. Karmas, who's been in the thick of things early and doing some nice things in defensive 50.
I've always found him a relatively impressive player, where even last year coming on as a sub at times, as a forward, playing as a key forward. He's backed up in the ruck, and as a key defender tonight. He's always been a fairly impressive player, clearly a dynamic athlete, one of the better athletes in the competition. But if he can settle down back, that'll be a bonus for them, because he can play on talls and smalls.
McKenzie gets it to Impey, who just kept the ball in play. Butler couldn't take the mark and will walk the ball over the line and out of play just beyond the 50 arc at right half forward for the Hawks.
Just early signs with the Dogs and the way they're trying to defend, or certainly an awareness to defend first. Kennedy is the one who has been the most obvious. He doesn't follow the ball forward as much. He floats back a little quicker, but we've seen 3 or 4 Dogs with the same mindset, and the Hawks have been a bit free off the back of contests. So as they try and steady the ship and watch a bit of vision, they'll correct that.
Bramble took the intercept mark inside defensive 50, goes to Bailey Williams on the outer side.
Haven't seen much kick and mark in this game. It's been fairly frenetic. I imagine it's very slippery because it is very, very humid. So not much kick and mark in this game just yet.
And I can attest to that, because the sweat is running down my back and it's very uncomfortable. As Jacks goes to the centre wing broadcast side, cut off by Hardwick.
It's not a visual medium, but it's not a great visual for me either, Matt.
No.
It's the perspiration that you're dealing with.
Ball to the outer side now. Scrimshaw, they've affected the switch here, the Hawks. Mark taken by Bailey McDonald. Goes down the line. He's searching for D'Ambrosio. Too much on the kick. Came out the back though to Newcomb. Kept it moving forward, and Gunston takes the mark. About a centimetre in from the boundary line in that left forward pocket.
Another beautiful kick from Newcomb. He's got great balance. He can turn confidently on both sides of his body, which just buys players so much more time when you know, and particularly as a forward, you know that your teammate can roll left or right. It gives you the ability to lead wherever you want to lead, and Gunston had just enough space in the pocket.
Achieved about everything last year and gets the goal here. Best and fairest leading goal kicker, all at the age of 60.
It will be. Not quite, don't sell him short just yet, but it will be interesting to see how close to that level he can get again this year, because in fairness to the others, he probably masked, you know, some patches in form from Cal Shadir, and he probably masked over the fact that Lewis was trying to find his feet, because Gunston was just airborne and was so effective and so efficient, so accurate. He probably covered for a few others who weren't going as well as they would have liked. So how close to that level could you expect for someone of his age? And that's going to be an interesting part to the season.
And then what's the tipping point for the development of deer as Lewis finds form? Like, how does that factor into the equation with that forward setup? From the toss-up, Dogs worked it to West, who retreated ground to English, who now sends them forward, and Norton on a lead. Brilliant, takes the mark at left half forward.
I'm going to give English the benefit as Norton passes it off to wisely to the skipper. Now, this is right in front of their training facility, so they would have had 1 million, maybe 2 million shots from this very spot on the ground, which I think makes you less likely to kick it. You've kicked yourself into oblivion from this spot.
What's the punishment if he misses? Which he has. It's very shallow, didn't even make the distance, fell very short, sneaks through for a minor score. Surely there's a punishment for missing that.
There should be, particularly when you kick it like that.
That was horrible.
That was not his best effort, but yeah, it was a nice kick from English on the left. He's an impressive player. He's someone who's going to benefit from the encouragement for ruckman to leap in the middle, because he certainly's got a great leap at his height.
Hopefully find that form that he had about 2 or 3 years ago, as Watson rode the contest at speed, then got caught and holding the ball.
Done for a throw, I think. Sort of an inside-out handball that players often get away with, but he got pinged for that.
And Karmas was the recipient of the free kick, so again that defensive pressure working well from him. Bailey Williams sends it long towards right half forward. Sicily went up, didn't complete the mark. Scrimshaw on the scene to help protect things. Short ball to Impey, who has to retreat a long way into defensive 50, and they've gone even further and conceded a behind.
I mean, the young fella there, Mraz, I reckon, was it, just with a wayward kick?
He was searching for Hardwick at the top of the square, but was well off target. So a minor score sees the Dogs leading by 9 points. Ball to the outer side. Watson roving again. Puts on the afterburners. Goes towards left half forward. It was too wide for Chol, who did get a hands on it, so it will be a boundary throw.
Importantly, isn't it, these days for Chol to stretch out and get a hand on that, because that becomes a throw in 65 metres from your goal versus giving the ball back and having it a turnover. So those little things are going to become important so that you don't give the ball straight back. But just an example there, the Hawks, who are one of the better teams with ball movement, they were able to get that from a kick in all the way inside 50. So not a great defensive stanza from the Dogs.
McKenzie goes inside attacking 50 with his kick. Ball wrapped up by Butterick, who was claimed by Lewis and Ward. So we get a ball up in the heart of attacking 50 for the Hawks.
Dogs fans are probably going to get sick of us talking about their defensive issues, but
is it scrappy? Chol, he tried to whack it on the boot, got nowhere with the kick. Ball left forward pocket for the Hawks. Newcomb's claimed in the tackle by Richards. We'll get a ball up.
The reason we're going to harp on it is because it feels the missing link between where they finished last year and where a lot of people think they should be. Now, I don't just declare them a premiership winning squad, as that looks holding the ball.
Yep, Matt Kennedy getting a hold of Watson, who's continuing to attempt to break through those stoppage situations or even the contest situations. We've seen that a couple of times already.
Yeah, he's going to quickly learn. He probably already has, but quickly learn which players he can get away from and others that he probably should handball the ball as quick as possible. But certainly the Dogs look like a top 4 team if they can defend to a top 4 level.
Hawks have caused the turnover, although the kick from Hardwick smothered. Karmas engages in a battle with Morrison. Butterick arrives, sends the kick to the centre wing. 2 to beat for Norton, and Impey wins out. Takes the intercept mark.
Good positioning from Mraz again there. Look, aerially, he looks like he's quite comfortable. Had that little hiccup with the kick to his teammate there, but he aerially looks really solid.
Morrison going inside 50. Lewis got up, didn't complete the mark. Out the back, Newcomb feeds the handball to Weddle right on the boundary line across the face into the pocket. Nash almost completed the mark. O'Donnell gets it to English as the Dogs try to recover. Bailey Williams hoping kick out a defensive 50 goes down the throat of Scrimshaw. Short kick inboard to Impey. On the edge of the centre square outer side. He goes to centre half forward. We're searching for McKenzie, but Jones got in the way and wants to go quickly. Got the handball to Baker. Baker sends it to the top of the 50-yard. Croft took the mark, played on quickly and put it through from 45 out. Second goal of the night for Jordan Croft. Dogs moved to 5-3-33. Hawthorn 3 straight 18, all thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts. And that might be the unmissable moment from this first half for Drinkwise. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise.
Yeah, fantastic work from Artie Jones. That's what created it. And those are the things that will get him and keep him in the team. The ability to cause the turnover. We know what he can do with ball in hand. It was a clever kick from Baker. I thought he might have tried to test the back of the Hawks' defence and give Norton a chance, but the Hawthorn defender did have a couple of metres goal side, so kicked it into the path of Croft, who again shows how athletic he is. He was running away from James Sicily, took the mark on the run, didn't have to break stride, and finished really, really well. It's quite easy to blaze away and spray that ball from 45 as you call, but it was a great finish.
We say no Darcy, no worries.
Well, at the moment, it does certainly look that way as Bont wins himself a free kick. Lloyd Meek tried to take a few on out of the ruck, and Big Bont got a hold of him.
Yeah, so the Victorian skipper and the Dogs skipper sends it inside 50. Mraz again with an authoritative fist. Gives Hawthorn the best opportunity to come out of defensive 50, although Morrison got caught, had to go back to Scrimshaw and whacks it on the boot, searching for the centre wing. Out the back, Gunston takes it on the half volley. Sees off Butterick a couple of times. Some fancy footwork from the old man. Goes down the throat of Moore in front of the interchange gates. He spots Watson at right half forward. Takes the mark and plays on immediately. And just probably went a little too quick in the end because it was off skew for Chol and goes out on the full.
Yeah, absolutely. The Dogs just didn't get any numbers to the fall of the ball here. It was always going to come back skinny side where Gunston was, and it was a low number 3-on-3. It's an area of the game where you want to try and outnumber defensively there, because the Hawks made them look a little bit silly if not for the final kick from Watson to Mabior.
As there's a clumsy free kick that's been given away in favour of Lloyd Meek. I think it was Croft.
Nice long quarter, isn't it? I know we've had 8 goals kicked, but we're going to go 30 plus.
There we are, ball inside 50 for the Hawks. Watson had to hurdle over Chol to avoid contact. Gunston intercepted the Dogs' handball and curled it through for his second. No dramas with his form coming into 2026.
No, absolutely not. He was beaten by Karmas a couple of times earlier, and just shows he's got so many ways to impact the game. He won a critical contest here at half-back, sold a little bit of candy and was able to stabilise the game for the Hawks and get an uncontested mark. And there at ground level, again, just agile, versatile. Never had an opportunity to look for the goals, but knew exactly where they were and flushed that. 2 nice snaps, one from a set shot and that one in general play. So again, he's on track for a good game, but certainly another good season. So just, I mean, career best form quite clearly for him, and he's had a great career.
Yeah, that's the impressive part of it. As Matt Kennedy will be taken into the turf here for a ball up.
It's not something you thought you'd be seeing from his time in Brisbane. He really struggled up there and clearly had some, a tough time personally with some of the things that happened in his life. But since coming back to Hawthorn, he has just grown a leg.
Ward stole the ball in the end to get it inside 50. Chol beaten in the contest, but goes to work at ground level, still battling away with Selwood, who goes over the top of the footy, and the umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up.
Still Moore just able to sneak ahead of the footy. I'd say the Hawks look a lot different because they've got 3 or 4 key players in different numbers. Moore's gone from 13 to 8. McDonald's changed. Watson's changed. It's a different looking group.
At least it's not as different looking as the Gold Coast Suns last night, which was a commentator's nightmare. Felt like I was calling the Sydney Swans. Croft got the handball to Kennedy. It's a hot potato. Richards got nothing on the kick. That's scrappy. Hawks with the numbers at right half forward. Sicily to Newcomb inside 50 for Watson. Did he do enough to claim the mark, or if he hadn't, he was going to get the free kick for some holding. So on the quarter time siren, he's going to go back. He's slightly worse than a 45-degree angle. We'll have to kick every bit at 50 metres here, JJ.
Yeah, he'll take his best, I think. Be keen to back him and be with him if this was a premiership game, a game for premiership points. Just maybe lacks the full level of energy required to get this one home, but he'll give it a good roost.
Kicking to the Westgate Bridge end, which is off in the distance and looks superb this evening. Watson.
He's been done for play on.
Yeah, he steps out to the right trying to get the arc, which you can't do after the siren.
Well, you can do it if you start off your line. So he started on his line and then went off. He didn't go that far off, but I wonder if they'd call that in a real game. Or they're just setting the tone.
Well, I hope they do, because by the letter of the law, it's right. It's the right decision to make.
Yeah, Lance Franklin would have had a hard time kicking goals.
He certainly would have. Maybe not as kicked as many as he ended up doing. At quarter time, though, it's the Dogs 5-3-33 leading the Hawks 4 straight 24. AFL Nation on this Friday night at the Winton Oval, back for the second term on the other side of this.
This is the 2026 AFL Community Series on AFL Nation. Thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
Don't get FOMO this winter. Wait, do the kids still say FOMO? What about 6-7? Is that still a thing? I kicked 6 goals 7 once. Get KO Sports with every game of every round of the 2026 AFL season live and on demand in 4K with no ad breaks during play.
That is incredible.
With all that footy plus the NRL, F1, Supercars, netball and all the other sport you love. You won't miss a thing on KO Sports.
Landscapers and tradies need plants? Plantmark is your trusted wholesale nursery with a huge range at true trade prices. They supply landscape projects of all sizes, from quote to delivery. Open 6 days at 4 locations across Melbourne. Plantmark.com.au.
Durafit by Blunston is the newest safety range for day in, day out wear, with features that cushion and protect from the ground up, like impact-resistant composite toe caps, slip-resistant soles, and responsive cushioning where you need it most. Topped off with water-resistant leather for durability and protection from the elements. Each pair is backed by Blunston's legendary quality and craftsmanship, and engineered for endurance. Durafit by Blunston for day in, day out hard work.
Had an accident? Get your car fixed now and pay for it later. Sheen Panel Service are now offering Afterpay with 27 locations across Victoria, a range of over 600 accident replacement vehicles, a lifetime guarantee on repairs, plus Sheen can even pick up and drop off your vehicle. Fix now, pay later at Sheen Panel Service. Find your closest location at sheengroup.com.au.
T's and C's apply.
This week at Harvey Norman, clean up with big savings for the laundry at our washer and dryer clear out. Front load washers from under $449. Big brand dryers from just $392. Plus heaps more in store. For the kitchen, race in for hot deals on selected big brand cooking appliances plus 10% in bonus gift cards when you spend over $299. Or upgrade the fridge with LG French doors going out the door from just $1,788. There's more in store at Harvey Norman, Melbourne's kitchen and laundry appliance specialist. Conditions apply.
In this new era of ChatGPT and AI, the tradies of Melbourne have spoken. Us blokes want the real robot.
Robots got it.
Carpentry, fencing, engineering projects and DIY. Robot Building Supplies can help you get the job done.
Robots got it.
The original robot since 1946. Find us in Notting Hill, Sunshine, Preston, Dramana, Pakenham, Coldstream and Darnham. We're robot, but we're human. Robotbuildingsupplies.com.au.
ROBOT, Robot Building Supplies.
Mazda's 2025 play clearance is on now. Don't miss incredible drive-away deals across select 2025 models. Take on the toughest terrain in the top-of-the-range Mazda BT50 SP. Now from $68,990 drive away. Or get the job done with the worksite-ready BT50 XT 4x4 dual cab from $55,990 drive away. Hurry into your local dealership before they're gone. Price to clear and ready to move. The Mazda play clearance is on now. Terms, conditions and exclusions apply. See Mazda.com.au for details.
Up in Queensland, they're making something devilishly refreshing. New to Melbourne, Diablo Alcoholic Ginger Beer. Every sip brings a full ginger flavour with a lift of lime, gentle chilli and a smooth, crisp finish. But only 7 grams of sugar per 100 mils and no artificial flavours. Plus, it's 100% gluten-free, endorsed by Celiac Australia. Diablo Alcoholic Ginger Beer. Devilishly refreshing. Distilled, not brewed. Produced with Queensland's finest ginger and pure Mary Valley spring water. Find your nearest stockist at diabloco.com.au. Enjoy responsibly. responsibly.
With a motto like success through service, it's no wonder Alex Scott and staff deliver winning results. Servicing Gippsland since 1886, they're your local experts in livestock, rural property and real estate. Alex Scott and staff, Gippsland born and bred. Visit alexscott.com.au.
This is the 2026 AFL Community Series on AFL Nation. Thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
The handball out to Norton, inboard, searching for Davidson, snaps it across his body. First goal on the board, inside 25 seconds for the Western Bulldogs. Carmers gets the 1-2, sends it long inside 50. Too much on it for Croft. The Hawks defenders got in each other's way, comes out the back. Croft kept his feet and puts it through. Dogs are 2-1-13. All inside 50 for the Hawks. Watson had to hurdle over Chol to avoid contact. Gunston intercepted the Dogs' handball and curled it through for his second. No dramas with his form coming into 2026. No, certainly not. 2 goals for Jack Gunston in that opening term. The Hawks, though, trailing 4 straight 24. The Dogs 5-3-33. Jordan Croft kicking 2 goals. Singles to Oscar Baker, Riley West and Sam Davidson, while Mitch Lewis and Jack Ginnivan have the other goals for the Hawks. As we get back underway, JJ, your thoughts?
It was a good quarter of footy. 9 goals between the two teams, up and back. I reckon we'll see some tempo maybe come out of the game with the endeavour to kick and mark the ball a bit from both teams.
And particularly given how hot and steamy it is here at Whitten Oval, as the Dogs will generate the clearance. English, Sanders, high inside 50. Norton caught behind Scrimshaw, had to go with the fist. At ground level, Weddle working overtime. Croft soccering it through. He's done it. For a moment, I thought it had just glanced the post on its way through, but his boot beat all comers there, Jordan Croft, for his 3rd goal of the night.
Well, I mean, you look at the team that lined up tonight and you think, well, it's pretty obvious. Darcy comes back in, provided the general soreness goes away, and Croft, as talented as he is, probably goes out of the team. But, I mean, this is the beauty of being a young player and getting an opportunity like this. And I think it might have been Brendan McCartney who told me way back when, just because you were last picked, it doesn't mean you're first out. You can make him drop someone else. And at the moment, Jordan Croft is saying, well, Sam Darcy's coming back in the team, no problem, but it's not going to be for me. He has been incredibly impressive thus far. And all 3 goals at ground level, he took the 1 mark, but he was running into goal when he kicked that goal. So just showing as his supreme athleticism.
And it was Sam Davidson for the Dogs last year that did a very similar thing, kept his spot in the team.
Yep.
As the Hawks move it out wide, Newcomb to Gunston, sliding in on his knees to take the mark. Wanted to feed the handball off immediately to McKenzie, who delivers it beautifully to Lewis on the lead. Into the right forward pocket. It will be a tricky angle.
It will be. He is a nice, booming set shot, this guy. I love the way he kicks the footy, thumps it. And it's good to see him get some form back late in that finals campaign. Even though the Hawks struggled against Geelong, he was able to kick a few goals and have an impact, and that would have carried him through the summer. So a really nice passage of play from Hawthorn, albeit a difficult shot.
Lewis comes in, drop punt on its way. It's across the face and will be slapped through for a minor score. So the Hawks trailing by 14 points. And there is not a breath of wind. Again, I look over at that flagpole where there's normally a Bulldogs flag flapping in the breeze. There's nothing.
It's almost too still, isn't it? It's a bit unnervingly still. It's like the calm before a storm, but it's a beautiful night for footy. Very, very slippery out there. It's Queensland-type conditions for these two teams, which is very handy for the Dogs.
Yep, he'll be playing in them next week, and even there's been a bit of humidity in Sydney recently too, so good preparation for the opening round as the Dogs win a free kick at right half forward. Richards to Fraser, takes the mark in the right forward pocket. Worse than a 45-degree angle, will kick from about 40 metres out.
Just comes so naturally to this group, the offensive side of the game. Richards wins a contest at half forward and looks a difficult kick. It is a difficult kick, but he just makes it look very, very easy. And Fraser's going to try and go around on the left from 35. He'll have to really flush this.
And he has. Brilliant kick from Fraser. And the Dogs are out to a 20-point lead, 3.5 into the second term. 7-3-45. Plays 4-1-25, all thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
Really nice finish from him. When you're that far out and you want to go around the body, particularly in your non-preferred, you've really got to focus on which part of the footy you hit, because you strike that ball on the wrong side and it goes incredibly skinny and travels low and can occasionally hit the ground, which is what we saw from Bontempelli in the first quarter, or which is what we see a lot from players. They belly the ball and they're trying to kick it too hard, but he perfected that. He's a really skillful player, and I've got no doubt he's probably ready to be a 24, 25, 26 possession per game player. He's just not going to attend enough centre throw-ups, and he's not going to play midfield enough, so he's probably just going to have to settle for that half-forward role, wing role, and a little bit of midfield time.
Watson tried to burst through but left it behind. A ground level Newcomb. Got a handball out to McKenzie. Running backwards though, has to feed the handball to Impey. Didn't get full purchase on the kick, and it's wide for Ginnivan. Butterick did well to get a fist on it. Ball over the line and out of play for a throw in.
Probably somewhat of a surprise. He has to wait to get in there after Kennedy. Just wonder whether he could be prioritised in terms of which guys you want to have in there. Of course, Bontempelli's going to spend most of his time in there. Liberatore can only play that one role anyway, so he's really fighting for the last spot in the midfield.
Along with this bloke here, I think Ed Richards, who's claimed by Newcomb.
And Sanders.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes the biggest luxury you've got is your biggest issue.
And who's on top of those three at the moment? Probably Richards, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Reigning All-Australian and incredible performer last year.
Best and fairest winner for the Dogs as well. Inside 50 for the Hawks. O'Donnell went with the fist, knocked it into the path of Sanders on cue. Taken over the boundary line, though, by Chol, and out of play right half forward.
It's the part of the community series that you enjoy. You can sort of hear the crowd a little bit more specifically, and there was some giggles about O'Donnell going for a fist instead of a mark, and I thought to myself, I'd like to see you go for the mark with a big key forward like Mitch Lewis bearing down on you.
You can take him out at half-time if you want, JJ, and just give him a lesson or two.
Steamroll a few. Not so easy now, is it?
See, I'd pay money to see that, I think.
I wouldn't. I'd be waking up very... I'd have General Soreness. I'd have the Sam Darcy's.
Josh Jenkins with us.
Generally be sore for a week.
I reckon a month, actually, given how long you've already been out of the game for. Ball now going towards half forward for the Dogs. Croft didn't take the mark, but spun through. His handball, though, just misjudged Bontempelli. Ginnivan got in the way. Gets crashed into by Kennedy. And we'll get a ball up centre half forward for the Dogs.
Does make things happen, though, Croft, doesn't he? He's just an interesting player. It's Weddle versus Croft at the moment, two of the more unique athletes in our game.
It is a great matchup when you think about it. Ginnivan at centre half back. Sends the ball up to centre half forward. Gunston and Karmas got brought to ground. Watson shrugged the tackle off. Feeds the handball back to Lewis, who just waits.
Got himself a free kick here, the Wizard.
Yeah, he got tangled with Selwood. It's going to be brought back.
I was watching it. He didn't play for it, but he engaged in it, and it was probably cleverly done. I mean, he has been the subject of conversation around free kicks that he has been getting and hasn't been getting, and I think really early in his career, it was quite dangerous, some of the leading with the head that he was doing.
And that's one of the things that this new shrugging, holding the ball decision or interpretation is hoping to eradicate in the long term. Inside 50, Lewis got up high. No one, though, able to bring it in. Sanders roving the contest. Feeds it out to Jones on the lead. Interrupted by Weddle illegally. And the Dogs win the free kick in front of a healthy Dogs fan base in front of us.
Been able to win a couple of big contests. Jones, he was brought in late brought in for that play-in game effectively, wasn't it? By the time we saw Fremantle and the Dogs. And it was somewhat a surprising selection. Hadn't really lit it up in the VFL numbers-wise. But again, I think seeing him tonight, I can probably understand why they picked him. He's never going to be a big numbers guy. He's going to be more about one or two turnovers, two or three different pressure acts that he can be involved in.
English won a free kick. Ball inside 50. Sicily got disposed of.
Norton decided to bench press Sicily out of the way before the ball had even travelled halfway in its journey. It was quite obvious.
It just makes me wonder, is there a little bit of fatigue starting to creep in with
Yeah, I
these
think
conditions?
so. Yeah, and we've only really travelled less than 10 minutes in this. It was a frenetic first quarter. It's not a great kick from English.
Straight down the throat of Hardwick. Kind of similar to the game last night. Gold Coast Brisbane started with frenetic pace and then probably deteriorated as Locke takes the intercept mark.
Unfortunately, if I had to guess, as the Dogs now turn it over, if I had to guess, both coaches have probably gone out and said, look, the game's a bit fast for what we want. Now, as fans, we want it to be fast, but the reality is AFL coaching groups don't want the game flat out all the time.
As ragdolled is Davidson, it's just getting a little reckless.
I think the fatigue is playing a part in some bad decisions from players with free kicks against, and I've seen a couple.
9 travelled, second term. Dogs by 20 points. Kennedy virtually on the centre circles, goes to Fraser. I think he lost where it went. Jones, though, was able to recover. Feeds the handball to Sanders. Inside 50, but retreating ground. Karmas just beyond 50. Feeds it back to Sanders, who tries to steer it to Bontempelli, and he does so successfully.
It's been good. Sanders had a game high, or an equal game high, with Bontempelli, who will retake that lead as he has a shot for goal. But 12 disposals for Sanders. He's looked really, really sharp. Like what he's been able to do. 3 ground ball gets, which is going to be his game. He's going to be a ground ball winner. He's going to be a loose ball gets guy, and he's looked really good in that role tonight.
As Bontempelli comes in. 45-degree angle just about left of centre. Puts it on its way, and it's across the face. And minus score. It's 2 behinds for the skipper tonight. As I'm a bit mesmerised by the reflections on the building from the sunset. It is beautiful.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Again, I'm first time here in 15 years, which is not a great thing to say back to yourself, but it is great to be here. And again, it's a fantastic night for footy, and the crowd have decided to turn out.
As the ball is at right half forward for the Dogs. McDonald, though, for the Hawks, tried to get it to Morrison. It landed back in the lap of McDonald through the congestion. His kick had too much on it for Meek. Gunston came out to greet it, missed it, then missed the handball that was delivered from Meek. Morrison mopping up, gets it now to Watson in space, almost at left half forward. Pops it over the top to Morrison, who continued to work down the broadcast wing. He takes the mark right on 50.
Gunston will be looking for a little tick lead here. There is about to, but Lewis cut through.
As Morrison now elects to go short and wide to Ward.
This is where, if you're clever, you try and find one of your longer kicks, so a little short kick. Similar spot on the ground, but if you can find a player, it's Morrison, but if that was Sicily, he's probably within range.
As Morrison tried to deliver it inside 50, Lobb cuts it off. And the Dogs get a moment of reprieve. They lead by 21 points, 11 and a half played second term, all thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts. Frenetic opening term saw 9 goals kicked. It's been a little more of a stalemate in this second. If you've just tuned in to the action earlier today up at Mars Stadium in Ballarat, the game was called off halfway through the third quarter because of lightning. It was the second interruption for the day that they had up there. Melbourne were leading by 35 points when that game was drawn to a close.
Ironically, as we heard from Nathan Jones before this game, both teams planned on just waiting it out in training. So
interesting. An insult to injury when you do a bit more pre-season work.
Well, you know you need the work, but I guess it's better than going home and having to set the alarm and get up and do it tomorrow. So I guess it's the old-fashioned travelling emergency, having to do laps by themselves, but it's the whole team. It's both teams.
The old sub that would have had to go, which we won't see anymore, as Karmas takes an intercept mark after the Hawks tried to navigate their way down the broadcast wing.
I used to call that the best worst job in footy. It's the worst job because it's a little bit lonely and a little bit humiliating, but it's the best job because you're getting paid good money just to run laps of the oval, aren't you?
Well, the incentive that just kept Josh Jenkins motivated by the same thing.
Depends how you want to frame things.
Ball inside 50 for the Hawks. Again, no one could take a mark. Sanders receives the handball from O'Donnell. A little lax of a kick to Jacks. Allowed more to come in to interrupt. Ward scoops it up, gets it to Weddle from beyond 50, gets under the kick. Lob, Chol, Lewis collide with each other.
Kick, Lob.
And, yep, Lob will get it.
Pushed in the back. It's been good, Lobby. Oh, that's not so good.
Although it just went over the head of Harvey.
Out.
And West.
He'll run it in here.
Can put it in front of Jones. Does it sit kindly? It does. From 40 out, he puts it through. Artie Jones with his first of the night. And the Dogs are out to a 27-point lead as we tick over 14 minutes in the second term. Thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts. Another unmissable moment for Drinkwise.
Yeah, it's better to be lucky than good. Rory Lobb tried to really bite one off through the corridor, and it was an inch away from being turned over. The Hawthorn defender that came forward, it might have been Morrison. Couldn't quite catch who it was. Going to try and use the orange boots as a bit of a guide, but all the defenders have got orange boots for Hawthorn. But that defender was well read from the Hawks defender. He came forward as teams are instructed to do, always come forward to defend, but the ball just carried on him ever so slightly, and the Dogs had the overlap from there, and Jones just had to pick that ball up. And it's always dangerous when they kick it along the ground, but he kicked it straight.
There's about 4 Hawks defenders: Sicily, Mraz.
Yeah, they did me no favours with the boots.
Hardwick. They all could get the blame for that passage of play. Newcomb inside 50 over the head of Gunston, rolls out the back and will be taken over the boundary line and out of play by Jacques, who he stepped on the inside of the behind post and the ball went on the outside of the behind post.
I think we've seen a last touch out of bounds yet.
Haven't yet.
So
no.
I think on the numbers from the SANFL, I think we're around 6 to 8 a game. So it's not a big number, but certainly enough to just speed the game up a little bit.
As Chol tried to break through, Karnas gets a fist on it and it deflects through for another minor score.
There's some interest in the Supercoach fantasy football world for the Dogs in terms of who takes all of Bailey Dale's kick-ins. I'm not really up for all that sort of stuff, but I think that's of interest for some.
Yeah, and you're talking to the wrong person about that too.
Well, I know you get points for kickings. That's all I do know.
D'Ambrosio gets the turnover for the Hawks, sends it back inside 50. O'Donnell did well to get in the way of Ginnivan over the line and out of play, left half forward.
And interestingly, there was some really intriguing stats that they were now going to provide the umpires for the Brownlow. Intercept possessions and intercept marks is hey, wink, wink. Let's have a look at the defenders. Yep. Kick-ins, hey, let's look at the defenders who might get 30, but maybe they've only earned 21 of them. So some really, I think the AFL's wanting the umpires to see a thing or two with those stats.
Just open the eyes a bit more.
Yep.
Ball to the outer side. Jones tracking it. And, it's come off his boot. That'll be a lasso, and it is. Last disposal out of play.
Whose idea the lasso was?
Not sure. Been in the AFLW for a couple of years. Probably the only arm gesture left that they could utilise for everything else. Is we've got windmills and everything in here for AFL, so
it does the job.
Yep, effective. You can see it. So long as it's paid appropriately, that's what we want.
Yes.
Newcomb to McKenzie, and he got caught.
Done for a throw there because he looked to have disposed of the footy, but clearly hard to handball when you've got Libba wrapped around you. So clearly an incorrect disposal deemed there by the umpire.
As Libby comes to this broadcast side with his kick. Hits up Bramble, who moves it quickly inside 50. Was searching for Richards, didn't take the mark. Davidson's caught by Scrimshaw. Ball comes out to Richards, just couldn't get boot to ball. His arm was trapped. And that's the giveaway for holding the footy, and a free kick will go the way of Ward.
Be keen on hopefully some upside from Ward. He, was probably a little bit of an inconsistent midfielder, but just a young player as we get a downfield free kick against Artie Jones. Again, the coaches won't be upset with that. He's trying to apply some defensive pressure, but yeah, I think Ward's one they'll be hoping for, maybe low 20s most weeks, 22, 23 disposals if you can do that most weeks and sort of be a 7.5 out of 10 player most weeks.
He's got to step into that Warple role, doesn't he?
Yeah.
There's a nice intercept marks taken here by Selwood. There he goes short to Bramble. And the Dogs bring it to the broadcast side. And working overtime to get there was Emmett. Didn't take the mark, was able to gather and feed it to Fraser, who threads the eye of the needle with his kick into the middle of the ground for Liberatore, who moves it quickly to Kennedy. They're on the burst, the Dogs, inside 50 with this kick. Jones got a fingertip to it. Ball bouncing, Richards claimed by Battle. Got boots a ball to go in the direction the Dogs wanted. Advantage will be paid, though, for a Hawthorn free kick coming out of defensive 50. Newcomb receives the handball as there's a bit dealt with behind play.
It's a bit of circle work now as we've still got plenty of time left, but it's up and down the ground now. Both teams very, very fatigued, so not surprising even that kick there. Normally you'd expect that to hit the target, but both teams just a little bit worn out, a little bit fatigued, and probably keen to see this game get to half-time.
Sanders goes to the centre wing where Chol takes the intercept mark. We're a minute away from ticking into time on in this second term. And there hasn't been too many hold-ups, so it should be a relatively short quarter, you would think. Newcomb to Impey, who unloads from just inside 50, but's off target. And it doesn't register a score. So the margin remains at 26 points in favour of the Dogs.
There'll be a few teams, I've got no doubt there'll be more than a handful of AFL clubs here with some list managers and some scouts, and a guy like Mraz would be someone who I think if you're an opposition club and you're looking for your next key defender or some depth in that key defensive post, because clearly Barris is going to come back into this team and Mraz is the one most likely to drop out, but it looks like he's definitely got some AFL traits.
For the team they're playing tonight, be an interested onlooker.
Yes.
Given the reported interest in Cal Wilkie at the end of last year. There he is on cue. Mraz got the handball to Hardwick, who dumps the kick back towards the broadcast wing for the Hawks. No one takes the mark. Chol goes into some ruck work mode. Down to Butler, who's claimed by Selwood. Jacks gets the handball out for the Dogs. Butterick, a nice little kick to centre wing. And they're able to move it nicely here. Hines went searching for Davidson, who had to become the tackler and infringed. Hawthorn take the advantage through D'Ambrosio, who coughs it up to English.
Turnover city in this second quarter between the arcs in particular. Just English, we have seen him a couple of times behind the ball. I certainly wouldn't suggest it's been any more obvious than the way he's played the game traditionally. So maybe I've been sold a bit of a lemon there with that role change. But the Dogs, again, Coxie, are often gone.
Yeah, Richards inside 50, out the back. Norton gathers, feeds the handball off to Jones, who puts it through 3 seconds. And the Dogs are now out to a 32-point lead, all thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts, as we tick over 21 minutes in this opening term. In terms of structure and how the style is playing out, so you referenced the English conversation we had pre-game. What about the defensive components from the Western Bulldogs and the contested situation? Is there any improvement that you've noticed in this first half?
It's a balancing act for them, isn't it? Because we've all played in at various levels in whatever sport it is. When you know you've got a deficiency, sometimes just harping on it only makes it worse. You think you're doing the right thing by continually going back to it and talking about the reason you made the mistake or the element of the game you're not good at, but sometimes that can be detrimental as well. So there's been a couple of different moments in the game where you think, well, the better teams will have an extra body there, but all in all, I think they've been all right. They've only given up 4 goals, so the truth ultimately is in the scoreboard, and the scoreboard looks pretty good.
Meek run the ruck work and then roved his own ruck work. Got it to Newcomb, who unloads from 50. Lands just to the side of the square. Did Gunston do enough? He did.
Yeah, he's paid the mark, yeah. He just a little bit crafty, was able to get in beside and a little bit behind Buku Karmas there. That'll be a great rep for Karmas to have a look at behind the goals on Monday in terms of what one of the more crafty forwards can do.
As Gunston splits the middle, that's goal number 3.
Busy boy.
Reduces the margin to
3 snaps, 3 right foot snaps. It's just, I'm sure we'll get a look at it here on the replay screen. It was just and again, it was a clear centre ball up clearance, and just able to get in behind and get some separation off Karmas. And I guess on TV it looks like he's just got a metre of space, but he created it. It wasn't there to begin with. He was actually on the other side of Karmas, slipped him, got him behind him, and then picked up the drop zone. And that's what Gunston probably picks up the drop zone better than any forward in the game. I think Logan Morris is pretty good at that too for a young player. But yeah, it'll be a great one for Karmas to watch back probably 20 times on Monday and talk to his coaches about what he'd do differently next time.
So Hawks get their first goal of this second term. Just noticed that Croft was starting on the wing then from that centre ball.
He
up.
played a bit of wing in that play-in game against Fremantle, and he had a bit of an impact. He certainly would create a point of difference if he could play consistently on the wing. He's listed at 201. So I know Essendon had plans for Nick Cox to play that role for some time, and looks like Croft might do it from time to time as well.
Who knows if Ethan Reid will do that up at the Gold Coast.
Yes.
That seems to be all the mail, as the Dogs, who were caught in defensive 50, have been able to utilise English as the outlet, and he's taken the mark in the heart of defensive 50.
Clubs might be looking for a Dan Curtin type if they can find someone of that size, because it does give you a great aerial mismatch if you've got someone out there.
Yep, and can work at both ends of the ground too.
Yeah.
It's another key forward or key defender if you need. So long as they can execute in that role.
Nice.
Norton delivers it beautifully to Lemmer. Heart of attacking 50, directly in front. 35 out he'll kick from.
I suggested Norton wasn't the prettiest kick. Well, that was one of the better kicks we've seen tonight. He absolutely sizzled that ball inside to Liberatore, who's not going to muck around. He's not worried about the shot clock.
So, no time for a breather. Splits the middle. Back out to 32 points. 10-4-64 plays 5-2-32. 25 travelled second term for Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
Sometimes you watch a player like Liberatore with that goal-kicking routine and you think, well, doesn't everyone do that? It was very much take my mark, get straight up to the top of my mark. Not many steps, not much time taken, very simplistic. Just kick it as far as it needs to go to cross the line and job done.
Why don't more people do that then? Is it all about timing to make sure you can get players in position behind the ball?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. You do often, and even tonight, if you're at ground level, you would hear a lot of times you do hear it as a forward. You'll take a mark and you'll hear a teammate say, take your full 30, take your full 30. And part of that is allowing the other guys to have a bit of a rest whilst you're having a shot for goal.
I wonder if you did do that, you might execute a little bit better. As the ball's delivered to the top of the 50 again for the Dogs. Kennedy on the lead, takes the mark. Spins around, inside 50. Norton takes the mark, bursts away from the pack, and from inside the goal square puts it through. His first of the evening, and the Dogs are now out to a 38-point lead.
It's a bit of a cheat code, I think, isn't it? The team that plays on their home ground, the one they train on. We've seen the Blues play some good footy at Icon Park. We've seen the Swans were on home ground, home surface last night.
Kind of, yeah.
We'll call that one neutral. And even Brisbane last night, that was at Brighton Homes, was it not?
Yes,
so,
it was.
Bit of a cheat code, and the Dogs are doing the business here. And again, that was just great aerial work from Norton. It's just a bit too strong in that contest. He worked Moraz under the footy. Thought he might have kicked that ball onto the old Geelong Road. He could have. But,
he could have picked it up on the way home.
Yeah, he could have. They're worth about 200 these days.
You could have.
Oh, I could have. Well, I'm not going home tonight, actually. I'm staying in the big smoke. Gee, that looked a free kick against in the ruck contest. I think it was a secondary free kick, but I thought it could have been a ruck free kick. We haven't seen one tonight, which is a positive.
But we don't have a line either to draw on, so we just have to live with it. Ball inside 50 for the Dogs. That was a little bit clumsy there for Riley West. He was kind of stumbling in, got boot to ball, and it goes through for his second. And the Dogs are now out to a 44-point lead as we tick over 28 minutes in this second term for Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts from a comedy perspective. That's an unmissable moment for Drinkwise. Choose to drink wise.
You have to pick up the phone at half-time and check whether at Kane Corns 18 has pumping up the Dogs, because they certainly looked the part here tonight. Riley West had time to decide whether he was even going to bother to pick that up, and in the end he did. And again, good contest from Norton. Like potentially a chop of the arms, but in the end the ball got to the back. And you're always told as a forward, don't let the ball get to the back. But the defenders are told that too.
Yeah.
And it's always dangerous when it gets to the back. So sometimes as a forward, I think the ball getting out the back is a really dangerous and attacking move. But in the end, the Dogs were able to get another goal on the back of that entry.
And they've generated another clearance. Sanders to English, to Kennedy, to Bontempelli, who sees off the challenge from Nash, takes a bounce on the outer wing, and then scrubs the kick. He has not had his kicking boots on tonight, the Bont. And the Hawks are able to cause the turnover on the outer side. Impey. That kick went into no man's land. Cut off by Selwood, who sends it back to left half forward.
Poor kick, but great decision from Selwood. He came forward, defended, and probably saved. Now, it was a bit of a miss kick, but he saved his team from having a score against there. So a lot of the messaging from coaches in the pre-season is around the action, and then if you drop a mark or you miss a spoil, as we saw Morrison, or you miss that kick from Selwood, they often want to say you'll finish your work as we get going. The important part is you got yourself into position to actually make the play that we need you to make. So finishing your work is the last part that sort of comes to you as a player. You can do as many reps as you like. Once you get into these sort of involuntary situations where there's bodies all over the place, that's when you really refine your skills.
A couple of stoppages on the outer side. Hawks got the clearing kick, but went down the throat of Butterick. Comes to Jarks for the Dogs, who sends it up towards centre half forward. Ended up just going a little wide of Emmett, and it allows the Hawks to possess. Bailey McDonald goes to Ginnivan, who takes the mark under pressure. Gives the handball off to D'Ambrosio, who goes inside 50. It was an awkward kick. Watson made the most of it. Will give the handball to Butler, who can run into the open goal square and put it through. Hawks get their second for the term. Reduce the margin back to 38 points on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard. 12-4-76 plays 6-2-38.
Just the cleanliness of Watson there. It was a really good handball from Ginnivan just to allow D'Ambrosio to overlap, and his kick wasn't great. It was a bit of a helicopter, but Watson in space inside 50. So I think if he's going to play midfield, that'll be something the Hawks will be keen to generate. Watson in a bit of space, really dangerous as a small full forward. He's in a Jamie Elliott mould, but Elliott sort of is more of a lead and mark type of forward. If you kick it along the ground, now that wasn't by design, but at ground level there's probably no defender. The best defender in the game to probably stop him is on his team in Harvard.
Yeah, spot on. Ball to half forward for the Dogs, repelled by Impey to Ginnivan. Wide to Morrison, defensive side of the outer wing. Ticking towards half-time. In fact, we've just hit it on cue. So the Dogs go into the main change at 38 points in front. 12-4-76 play, 6-2-38. 3 goals to Jordan Croft for the Dogs. 2 apiece to Riley West and Arthur Jones. Singles to Oscar Baker, Liberatore, Fraser and Davidson. While for the Hawks, 3 to Gunston. Singles to Mitch Lewis, Sam Butler and Jack Ginnivan. Your thoughts as we enter the halftime break, Josh Jenkins?
Hard to not be impressed by the Dogs. Have been really, the game just comes so naturally to them offensively, and they put 76 on the board at half-time. Yes, it's a nice or a beautiful night for footy, but it is quite slippery, and you'd expect there to be some mistakes from both teams, but the Dogs have been accurate. They've kicked a lot of goals from the goal square in terms of wingers getting forward, winning contests and being able to get out the back. So offensively, again, they look like they're going to be one of the best teams, if not the best team in the game, with ball in hand. And just defensively, they've kept the Hawks to 38. So if you double that up and keep them to under 80, which is what they're on target for, that's a great result. So for the Dogs, they'll be very happy. Hawthorn, I'm not sure what Sam Mitchell will think about it. They've showed glimpses. No doubt in the first 5 minutes it was clear the Dogs were a little bit more fizzed up for the game. So I think Sam Mitchell will be saying, let's, at least for most of this third quarter. Let's really show something.
Half-time here at the Whitten Oval. We'll continue our analysis from the first half. On the other side of this, it's AFL Nation Community Series action live from the Whitten Oval. Matthew Cox alongside Josh Jenkins this evening.
This is the 2026 AFL Community Series on AFL Nation. Thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
Here's another powerful reason to choose Tyre Power. It doesn't matter what car you drive, where you drive, how you drive, or even what you might be towing behind you. You can trust Tyre Power to have the tyre to suit you. And as Australia's biggest independent, we have the buying power to make sure the price suits your budget as well. Get the power at Tyre Power for whatever you drive. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local independent owner.
Landscapers and tradies need plants? Plantmark is your trusted wholesale nursery with a huge range at true trade prices. They supply landscape projects of all sizes, from quote to delivery. Open 6 days at 4 locations across Melbourne. Plantmark.com.au.
Ad breaks during the footy? Give that a miss. And get every game of every round of the 2026 AFL season live and on demand in 4K with no ad breaks during play. Don't miss a thing with KO Sports.
Looking for the latest innovations in warehouse storage for your business? Think Dexian for tailored warehouse racking and cutting-edge automation technology. With an end-to-end service that includes design, supply, installation, and ongoing support and maintenance, they're helping businesses make their warehouses work smarter and more efficiently by maximising space and accessibility, resulting in higher productivity gains and improved safety. Speak to Stu Ward and the Dexian team today. They'll help you unlock your warehouse's potential. Visit dexianvictoria.com.au.
And they're off. Mate Internet jumps clean out of the gates and surges to the front with $25 off per month for the first 6 months. That's $150 in savings as Mate hits the home straight with momentum. Back a better internet deal today at letsbemates.com.au.
Offer available to new services on eligible internet plans. $25 discount per month for 6 months. Then reverts to standard pricing. $150 total saving. T's and C's apply. Visit letsbemates.com.au for full details.
DuraFit by Blunston is the newest safety range for day in, day out wear, with features that cushion and protect from the ground up, like impact-resistant composite toe caps, slip-resistant soles, and responsive cushioning where you need it most. Topped off with water-resistant leather for durability and protection from the elements. Each pair is backed by Blunston's legendary quality and craftsmanship and engineered for endurance. DuraFit by Blunston. For day in, day out, hard work.
The E&S Clearance Outlet is turning 10. To celebrate, we're offering massive savings on brands like Bosch, Fisher & Paykel, Westinghouse, Smeg, Villeroy&Boch and Caroma. Until the end of February, get an extra 20% off fridges, washers and dryers, an extra 20% off ovens, dishwashers and cooktops, an extra 30% off kitchen sinks and taps, and an incredible 50% off all bathroom products. So visit the E&S Clearance Outlet in Clayton and get value the E&S way. Sale ends tomorrow. Teasers apply.
Planning to sell your home? Download the must-read free booklet, Fatal Real Estate Traps Exposed, for everything you need to know to get the best result. Visit ianreid.com.au.
Ian Reid Vendor Advocates.
Go on, ring us.
Does your local tick all the boxes? Great food, a large atrium perfect for events, and a beer garden and marquee for hanging with mates? Sounds like the Flying Duck, where Gastropub meets a neighbourhood local favourite. Drop in at 67 Bendigo Street, Paran.
You hear that? That's the sound of something building. Not just anything. That's someone's future. Some people build the hard way. But with Cbus, you can do it the smart way. Cbus Super. Build your something. Read the PDS and TMD to decide if Cbus is right for you.
This is the 2026 AFL Community Series on AFL Nation. Thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
High inside 50. Norton caught behind Scrimshaw. Had to go with the fist. And ground level Weddle working overtime. Croft soccering it through. He's done it. For a moment I thought it had just glanced the post on its way through, but he's beat all comers there, Jordan Croft, for his third goal of the night. And West
to run it in here.
Can put it in front of Jones. Does it sit kindly? It does. From 40 out, he puts it through. Artie Jones with his first of the night. Dogs are out to a 27-point lead. I'm prepared to say, JJ, no Darcy, no worries for the Dogs tonight, given what Jordan Croft and Artie Jones were able to offer up in that first half-time. It is the Western Bulldogs by 38 points over the Hawks. 12-4-76 plays 6-2-38. It's our half-time floor show for Choices Flooring. Style, comfort, quality, helping you choose with confidence. So we kind of drilled down a little bit just before that break on the Dogs and how they're structuring up. From a Hawks perspective, you said you didn't quite know what Sam Mitchell's going to be saying at halftime, and I tend to agree with you. It's not a game that we've seen any real spark. There's been a couple of glimpses where they've had some nice passages of play, but there's nothing that's really showing us the full puzzle at the moment.
Yeah, and it's I think there's, for the most part, you probably roll through the game and think, well, you know, whatever, the guys, you know, we played deep into September, we played a prelim. That doesn't guarantee us anything, by the way, for this year. But, you know, we've got some time. That's not the case because, as we said, both these two teams start their season next week. So their major training sessions to get things done is gone because the boys are going to have to recover from this game. They'll have one main training session on Wednesday, which won't be a hard session. So in terms of refining and really going to work on certain things, that's done. So that was in the lead into this game. So, it's really interesting to see the way that, or to see whether we get anything out of Hawthorn in terms of that desperate measure or that desperation to show at least a glimpse or a period of their best footy.
Do they need to, though? Do they need to? Like, it's hot, it's humid, fatigue's already setting in that second quarter because of the conditions here tonight. Do they need, like, is this just, let's go through the motions, let's get you feeling the ball and getting into a little bit of rhythm, but not, you don't have to go 100% or 80% or 60%.
I don't think we'll be able to perhaps answer that until we see them play next week. And maybe if they're a little bit flatter, you think, well, is that a carryover? Did we give ourselves a really sharp preparation? And again, this is why coaching sends you crazy, because you never know. You never have the answer to that. And you never know what the perfect preparation is here either. That's why it can drive you insane, coaching. There's no right answer to it. But I think ultimately coaches would prefer to see the team play good footy and have to pull them back than push them forward.
From a Dogs perspective, you'd have to be happy with the way that they set the tone early. We discussed prior to the game that in years gone by they haven't started the season well, and they've got a couple of tough games to start the season with the Lions, Giants and Adelaide all before round 4. So getting into a groove, setting the tone for what is to come over the next couple of weeks, and I feel as though they've done that for the first half at least.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I think they'll be feeling quite good about themselves to the point where maybe they're at a point where they're already ready to just throw the magnets around a little bit. And, you know, OK Bont, you've played a game that was pretty hard fought in Perth. You know, we don't need to see that much more from you.
I need to see him kick a bit better than he has tonight.
Well, I'm happy to give him a pass on the foot skills to ensure that he's cherry right physically for the next game. You know, maybe Richards the same. English is pretty important to them. They don't, you know, really want to be going to their backup ruckman this early in the season. So, yeah, I think we've seen enough from the Dogs for them to be able to do whatever they want to. And look, Sam Mitchell might also. He's a very confident coach. And he's got great trust in his team. It wouldn't surprise me to see him basically wave the white flag either and just say, well, we know we're pretty good. We know it's a long season. And the other thing is we know that next week's result doesn't determine everything. It doesn't tell us whether we're going to have a great season or a poor season.
But you don't want it spiralling out of control, though.
No, you don't. But again, I think he has got the awareness and the ability to just step back from the emotion of it and realise that this is a long journey to where we want to get to. And both these teams have got premiership aspirations, no doubt about it. So, look, don't be surprised if we get a large chunk of footy in this second half, which is sting out.
Yeah. Going to need plenty of those lollies from that second bag that Bruce has brought along tonight to get us through, if that's going to be the case. An unmissable moment for drink-wise. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise. I'll move away from the highlights for this particular category for a moment, because I want to sing the praises of Noah Mraz for the Hawks, who, considering that there's no Barras inside defensive 50, he's done some nice things, had some moments that he'd like back as well. But for a young player looking to establish himself, he's showed a bit tonight.
Yeah, good size as well. 198. He looks like he's probably still going to develop a little bit in terms of his bulk and his weight, and it still frustrates me no end that we don't have the players' weights. I mean, it's so relevant for a player like him. Yeah. It's so important to know how much he weighs in terms of where he needs to get to physically. But anyway, we might get those back one day. But I mean, he looks to me that he's low 90s and he needs to get high 90s in terms of his size. He was just shoved under the ball against Norton, and when Norton was able to take the contested mark and run in and kick an easy goal. And, you know, Barras probably doesn't get shoved under the ball, but Barras would be over 100 kilos. There's no doubt about that.
And has a lot more games under his belt.
And a very strong player. So, he does look good. And, again, no doubt about it. These are some opportunities for players, and they say it in the NFL, you know, there are always 32 teams watching, and particularly in that sport where you move around a lot. But it's the same here. If your opportunity's not here, it might be somewhere else. So give yourself a great opportunity, because this might be the only time other clubs get to see you in an AFL environment. And he, among with a couple of others, is certainly doing a good job of it.
One name to keep a note of going forward. Half-time here at the Whitten Oval. It is the Dogs 12-4-76 leading the Hawks 6-2-38. Matthew Cox and Josh Jenkins with you. We'll be back with the second half on the other side of this.
This is the 2026 AFL Community Series on AFL Nation. Thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
Here at SEN Track, we thank Tyre Power for their support as a major broadcast partner and helping us cheer on all the great moments on the track.
The Tanks is going to run top 3. Bang, 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 bang. Go on, my son. Let's hear you do it.
Big Brands Better Buy sale now on. Buy 3, get 1 free on both selected Falcon and Dunlop passenger and SUV tyres.
Stay safe on the roads with Tyre Power. To find your Aussie-owned, local independent Tyre Power dealer, visit tyrepower.com.au.
Real people, real products, real fun. No matter who you are, Sexyland has something real sexy for everyone. With Australia's biggest range of sexy costumes, lingerie, couples toys and fun gifts and games for adults. Sexyland. 11 stores in Melbourne and Geelong, open till midnight 7 days a week. Or shop online for 2-hour delivery. Sexyland.com.au.
Pancare Foundation supports Australians facing upper gastrointestinal cancers, including pancreatic, liver, biliary, stomach and esophageal cancers. These are some of the toughest cancers to detect, with an overwhelming impact on families. That's why, with your help, Pancare provides support through diagnosis and treatment while driving vital research. Together, we can create real impact today and hope for tomorrow. Stand with Pancare. Show your support at giving.pancare.org.au and click Campaign Change the Game from the drop-down.
G'day, Jason Hodges here. Like me, you know that life happens on lawn. And my mates at Strathair Instant Lawn have been producing world-class grass for over 50 years. Whether you need a play space for the kids, a barbie area for your mates, or an outdoors spot for the pooch, Strathair offer a lawn for every yard or project. From the hardy Tiff Tough Hybrid Bermuda to the greener in winter fescue. Call Strathair for a free quote today or go online to strathair.com.au.
Whatever your ambition, own it. Search Loan Market and make it yours. Piper's ambition, to make it peaceful.
No more shared bathroom chaos.
Kevin and Elsie's ambition, to make it scenic.
Look at that view.
So close to the water.
Your local loan market brokers are ready to get to work. With access to over 90 banks and lenders, they can compare thousands of loan options to find a solution tailored to your needs.
Make it yours.
Whatever your ambition, find the right loan for you. Search Loan Market.
Loan Market. Make it yours.
Australian credit licence 390222.
With a motto like success through service, it's no wonder Alex Scott and staff deliver winning results. Servicing Gippsland since 1886, they're your local experts in livestock, rural property and real estate. Alex Scott and staff, Gippsland born and bred. Visit alexscott.com.au.
Luxury Escapes is home to the world's best holidays. Discover hand-picked getaways packed with unbeatable value, exclusive inclusions and experiences you'll never forget. Surround yourself with unspoiled beauty of Warwick, Fiji, where turquoise waters, palm trees and long stretches of golden sand provide the perfect setting for an unforgettable escape. With 2 children staying free, daily breakfast, nightly dinner and so much more, this is the best way to relax on island time. 5 nights from $1,769. Save up to 51%. Book now at Luxury Escapes. T&Cs apply.
Up your game in this footy season with Supercoach and make every round mean more. Chase the $50,000 major prize, dominate the all-new Supercoach Cup and claim the glory. Play Supercoach for free today. T&Cs apply. New South Wales TP/01005.
Impress at your next barbecue or dinner with something from the top paddock, smoker's pit or even tasty dry-aged beef from the Butcher Club. A traditional caring butchery that's simply not your average butcher shop. Sourcing quality produce delivered with exceptional customer service, it'll be a shopping experience to remember. Their grass-fed beef and lamb, hormone-free pork, free-range chicken and seafood are all locally sourced and 100% Australian. And they've got you covered with 10 locations across Melbourne. Visit thebutcherclub.com.au.
This is the 2026 AFL Community Series on AFL Nation. Thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
As we bring our halftime floor show, thanks to Choices Flooring, helping you make the right choice to a close on what is a brilliant night here at the Whitten Oval. I got very nervous given the game earlier today was called off for a couple of times for lightning, and as I was driving here there was lightning flashing around in the revision mirrors, but I'm pleased to report we've escaped it, at least for the time being. It has been perfect. The humidity is high. It's incredibly steamy, which has made conditions a little fumbly, particularly for a pre-season where there's a few cobwebs and a bit of rust that you've got to get rid of. But overall, it's a very pleasant evening.
Beautiful.
And the facilities here are great. You can't dispute the access. Like our vantage point up here is brilliant.
The view's amazing. I only had a brief look at the training centre, but it looks like it's a cracker as well. And that's important in modern footy. All clubs are trying to be up there or have the best set of facilities in terms of the meeting rooms and the gyms and all those sorts of things, the recovery centres that they access the players. And yeah, it's a fantastic facility, this one, and no excuses for either team really. And how can we possibly be worried about storms? You need wind.
Oh, don't say that.
There's no wind.
It was a bit coming from that air conditioner, which is actually quite nice on that bit of the back region that was
back down.
Yeah, it was getting a bit uncomfortable there for a period of time. But largely, though, it's a perfect night here at the Whitten Oval, and it just makes you wonder if there was another grandstand here of about 5,000, just what it could potentially be. We've spoken on and off for a number of years about a boutique venue.
Yeah, we have. I still hold out a bit of hope for Icon Park. I know there's some heritage listed issues and whatnot, but it's a perfect place for some of those. Fremantle versus, whomever, North Melbourne, or
it is, but
don't really want to throw any clubs.
Where they've put that training facility, though, does it no favours.
No, it doesn't. No. Well, it's pretty similar here.
It is, yeah. It just hasn't been factored into the equation as we get things back underway in the middle, and the Hawks are able to move the clearance.
Weddle in the centre bounce there, or the centre thrower.
Paparazzi Bruce was in my way. Ward claimed, ball up.
So Weddle starts in the centre there as a genuine midfielder. He's opposed to Bontempelli, so that's a handy matchup to keep our eyes on. Richards up against Newcomb. They still are Adam Cooney asked me to keep an eye on the Dogs in terms of what they do with their mids and their wingers. They do get tight, which can leave them vulnerable out the back.
High ball towards half forward for the Hawks, cut off by Sanders.
That was the fat side winger, so that's Sanders taking an intercept mark, playing with a defensive bias as the fat side winger, so that was a good passage of play from him.
He went searching for English, got thumped out of his grasp by Meek. Sanders has to come in for some support. Hines to Kennedy. Looping handball goes nowhere. Newcomb trying to break through. Shrugs the tackle off that was applied by English. Goes to Moore. Centre half forward for the Hawks, who trail by 38 points.
Don't think he's got this trip in him in February. Again, if it was the MCG with the blood absolutely pumping, maybe he would find a way. Could probably... Lewis is trying to get a handball.
And Moore decides to put a dart in searching for Gunston. Karmas was awake to it and got a fist involved. Came back into Moore, who's held without the footy in his possession. Or maybe he did have it in his possession, according to the umpire. Fraser gets the free kick. Go the handball off quickly to Butterick, to Sanders, out wide to Bramble. He points it back inboard for Kennedy, not the distance. He's forced to move it quickly. Norton on the outer side was waiting for it to bounce and then had to turn tackler. Hawks with numbers around the footy. Nash to Sicily. Pokes a little one short to Moore. Now Weddle. Pretty much at centre half forward for the Hawks. Darts it towards left half forward. Watson takes the mark. He wasn't the initial target. I think it was Morrison that was being searched for, but Watson said, no, I want it.
Yeah, and it's singled hands. He's a long way out. He's going to kick from, probably kicks it from 50, 51 metres. So it's a good side to arc around and try and pinch a metre or two.
He can do it this time, unlike the shot for goal he had at this end at the end of the first quarter, which was after the siren. He does arc around a little bit. Kick on its way. It's a beautiful kick. Watson gets his first for the night, a long range on a difficult angle, and brings the margin back to 32 points.
Yeah, great finish from him. Had the journey easily, and that's the beauty of taking a mark out on that part of the ground. You can just wheel back in and you open up the goals, but also you just give yourself such leverage, and really hammers that ball. He whips that leg through. He's clearly not the biggest man getting around, but he's got great power and timing, and it was a sensational finish, split the middle. So nice goal from him. In terms of Morrison, he's an interesting player. What his best position looks like. He's had the 9 disposals this evening. He's played a bit of half forward. He spent some time on ball, and I'm trying to find him at the moment. He might be on the far wing. He is. So a bit of an in-betweener as well. Can play here, there and everywhere, but not necessarily settled in one position.
Yeah, he's been one of those that's floated around the fringe for a little period of time at the Hawks. McDonald, he sends it inside 50, and holding ground is Selwood. He takes the intercept mark.
He's been all right. I've liked what he's been able to do tonight. Someone trying to, a player trying to find his way in the game and build a bit of a... The other thing you can do, and, Croft falls into this category a little bit. Selwood yet to play an AFL game. Even if you don't force your way in for round 0 or round 1, whenever your team plays their first game, you do leave a bit of a mark with the coaches at match committee. Well, you know what, we can pick this guy. We saw him and he gave us a bit of confidence, and the last time he played at this standard or against these players, he did play good footy. That certainly has an impact when the coaches go to match committee.
Particularly if there's an opportunity that creates through injury or form or...
The other thing coaches can say, particularly teams that are expected to perform well, is, okay, well, this guy...
McDonald curls it through. Nice goal from a right forward pocket boundary throw-in. So the Hawks have the last 3 goals of the game and 2 to start this third term. Draw the margin back to 26 points, 5 minutes into the third quarter.
This night's been prolific enough. 13 disposals and that goal.
It's been solid without sizzling.
Yeah, he hasn't really... Wouldn't say he's been as impressive as a Sanders or even a Tim English on the other side of the equation. Newcomb's, I think, probably been Hawthorn's best thus far. But he's busy. And I wanted to make the point around Morrison and McDonald, maybe Ginnivan to a lesser extent, maybe Watson as well. It's great to have these guys who are really versatile and interchangeable, and as we saw in the prelim final, when the crunch comes, which one are you leaning on?
Yeah.
Because you need to go to your strong hand. And I'm not sure they know what their strong hand is just yet.
Libba was dumped, which is what caused JJ to pause there for a moment. Dogs went it back half of the Hawks propelled it forward. Sanders, inboard to Fraser, just escaped Watson, but he did enough to affect the kick. Watson goes down the throat of Scrimshaw, brings it to this broadcast side. Ward pushes it forward to Newcomb, takes the mark. Centre wing broadcast side, and protected area infringement.
I think it was purely, we'll have a look at it again, but O'Donnell threw his head back. I think it was purely the stand rule and the fact that he moved a metre less. I'm really hopeful we get to see it again on the replay screen, because there were players in the vicinity, so it might have been, as you said, it might have been protected area, but O'Donnell sort of reacted as if it was his mistake.
So it brings Newcomb within range, and this will be the last 4 goals of the game for the Hawks if they can manage it. 1 before half-time, 2 to start this third quarter already as we tick over 7 minutes. Newcomb slightly right of centre. He's pushed it to the right, and that's where it stays. A minor score, 25 points the margin.
Shame, because unlikely we'll see a replay now, but yeah, it might have been one of those very, very harsh but accurate stand rule 50s.
And as long as they're consistent, we're happy with
absolutely, because the players will adapt quickly.
Norton to half forward. Bontempelli in a wrestle with Scrimshaw. There was some holding. And a free kick will go the way of the Bont.
Scrimshaw's got to be disciplined with diligent about where he stands the mark. He's given Bont about 4 metres and probably enough meterage to give him a chance of kicking this.
Well, he's kicked 2 behinds tonight, and hasn't had a great night when it comes to what he's delivered off the boot. That one went to a contest in the right forward pocket, off hands over the boundary line and out of play.
There he's probably going to spend a fair bit of time ahead of the footy, and Weddle's going with him everywhere at the moment, so again maybe something Sam Mitchell's just planting for down the track.
Potential plan C, D, E or F maybe.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Connor McDonald clearing kick towards the outer wing. O'Donnell underneath it, got clobbered by the pack, and it was almost kept in play but taken over by Schubert, who we see for the first time tonight.
Perhaps we saw Weddle tagged in that prelim final, which caught a lot of people off guard, and I reckon him off guard. And he was a bit startled by it, so I wonder whether it's, again, this is the creativity of Sam Mitchell and the proactivity of Sam Mitchell. Okay, if you happen to get tagged, we can send Weddle to their best player and release him in that way versus just sort of succumbing and relenting to that tag.
Do you reckon that's what AI's coughed out over the summer?
Maybe. It's always the people who don't understand AI were the most critical of Sam for using AI. That would be fair.
Yeah.
I'm not a big AI user, but I would certainly, I hope he's exploring every single avenue.
Yeah, well, you're allowed to. There's no rules against it.
I want my coach to be, and I said the same thing about Sam in regards to him recruiting other players and meeting Oscar Allen and meeting, other players. I want my coach doing that. He's not doing his job if he's not out there selling the club and trying to recruit players, because ultimately if I'm a free agent, I don't want to meet with the assistant coach or the GM. I want to meet with the coach.
It shows that you mean something.
That's right.
Now, there was an out on the full in amongst the congestion that's starting to develop, and the ball moved towards left half forward for the Hawks before it's again enveloped in another piece of congestion, which I think will be the hallmark of this second half, given how humid and steamy and fatigued, and given there's nothing on the line as well.
Even the Hawks media team are looking for the finish line beside us.
Yes, Lord. He gets, called for a trip. So Richards goes unrewarded. Ward will get the free kick. I'll tell you what, even though there is nothing to play for, the Hawks have been able to make things a little more respectable in this third term without doing anything too flashy.
Play the game in their half, which is something coaches love, and they certainly track. So that's been an impressive thing from them. And again, they've just shown that little period of footy where they can hang their hat on for next week.
Ward comes in, and it's just to the near side, so another minor score. Sees the margin reduced to 24 points now, all thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
Again, for me, it just looks a balanced group with Meek and Mabior Chol as the ruck and relief ruck. It looks like a balanced group. I think you'd just feel a little unbalanced if you had two rucks in the team. But again, as I said at the start of the game, I'd expect them to probably trial both versions.
Dogs moving inside 50. And then it's, almost was in congestion. McDonald was able to get it out for the Hawks, and then Richards in turn cut it off, poked it back towards left half forward. Norton was clever to trap it. Fed it to Liberatore, who puts it through for his second. Dogs get their first for this second half, just shy of the 12-minute mark. All thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts, and Libber's got 2 on the board now.
Yeah, nice finish from him. A pretty reliable goal kicker, hasn't he? Not a prolific goal scorer by any stretch of the imagination, but when he has an opportunity, he can certainly do the business. And just wonder about his role, and he's been such a stalwart, such a tone setter for them. Is he the one that Sanders and Fraser go past? That's, not knocking him. It'd be more about them than him.
So then, how could you deploy? Is he a player?
No, and that's
almost becomes the Travis Boak situation.
That's the tough conversation to have. The beauty of Boak could run to the very end, so Boak could play on the wing or play half forward, whereas Libber probably wouldn't be able to do that. If he's not in the centre bounce doing that, he's probably not in their team.
Forward pocket?
I doubt it.
Fraser, who could potentially be one of those that eventually overtakes, gives it off to Bramble, goes to right half forward, where English takes the mark. The Dogs just steadying after they've allowed the Hawks to control the first 10 minutes. Liberatore to Baker to Bont, curling it around towards the top of the goal square. Lyons can take the mark. Davidson walks it over the boundary line in the right forward pocket for a throw in.
Yeah, it'd be a difficult conversation to have. And look, it's not one that I think's likely, but again, I would think the Dogs coaches spend a lot of time week to week thinking about how to get Fraser and Sanders in particular, because Fraser seems to have blossomed anyway. Sanders is the one who probably is treading water a little bit because he's not getting the opportunities around the footy.
Selwood to Williams as the ball was initially shuffled out of the Dogs attacking 50. Goes back inboard. D'Ambrosio tried to feed the handball to McKenzie. Had to double back. Got claimed by Davidson and Sanders. D'Ambrosio was able to get the ball out somehow. Then gets clobbered again by Sanders. Was it in the back? No. Play on. Bramble up against the boundary line. Walking the tightrope. Sends it inside 50. Jones crashes the pack. Got up high. Failed to complete the mark. Fall of footy. Bontempelli was searching for Croft, I think. Got knocked out of his grasp by Hines, and then Jones is claimed in a tackle. Ball up top of the goal square.
Good little passage of play there. It was certainly willing. Jones tried to take a hanger and took the free kick out the far side against Sanders, but that was missed.
And we're back into congestion for another ball up.
The other thing that I guess lingers, and you don't think about this week to week with match committee and where you play your players, but I guess the cloud of Tassie when it comes to Sanders.
Yep. It's a nice intercept marks taken by Jakes. Retreats to Bramble.
It's one of those conversations that you have in the hallway, the list manager to the midfield coach. Hey, you couldn't trouble me to get Sanders around the footy a bit more so we don't lose him to Tassie.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one, particularly if he's starved again in 2026. Hawks move it to the centre wing broadcast side. Gunston gives it inboard to Ginnivan, who's able to dance around Selwood. Got it back to Ward, back to Gunston, up against the boundary line, back to Ginnivan in a little bit of space. Evades Davidson and evade Selwood again. Back to Ward, and this time he elects to thump it towards right half forward. Pack flies. Butler unable to bring it in. At the back, Jakes. Handball towards Selwood, goes to ground. McKenzie on his hammer. Picks it up for the Hawks to Ginnivan. McDonald overcooks the kick inside 50 over the head of D'Ambrosio.
Good overlap here if they can cleanly pick up this footy. English is all by himself.
Baker gets it to English at right half back for the Dogs.
Beautiful.
Delivers it to Crofts, moves it quickly to Hines coming off half back, goes towards centre half forward with the kick. I think it may have Falcon dead Richards there, and he's won a free kick.
He's got the arm chop. It was unnecessary from, I think it was Weddle. Just unnecessary from him because it was a dangerous spot to kick the footy. It was beautiful ball movement. English's kick back inside was as good as you'll see from a midfielder, let alone a ruckman, and he is probably the most skilled ruckman in the game, and Richards got a free kick. It was there, but it was just unnecessary from Weddle.
From right on the centre square, Richards unloads and makes the distance comfortably, but it's to the right, which almost had me. It certainly had all the Dogs fans underneath us, given the angle that it was on. And just missed. Minor score, margin 31.
It's good elevation and power from Richards. He didn't get much of a run-up in that one, but it was, certainly the goal umpire didn't do us any favours either, just standing, straddling the line.
Let the theatre linger a little longer.
Sometimes I wonder, it can't be the best position to see that ball fizz past the post, but they seem to get it right most of the time.
Ball inboard for the Hawks. McDonald, chop of the arms to him, so he gets a free kick defensive side of the outer wing.
You see that, explain it for those listening. The ground is really big now, and sometimes you think, well, how could you tell me the ground's big and then small? It's the same size ground, but it's in terms of where the bodies are and where the players are, and when you're defending, you want the ground to be small, so you want everyone sort of close enough to the ball so there's no space, and when you've got the ball, you want to create space and make it nice and wide.
Blazing away, Bailey McDonald. Karmas, did he get a shove in the back? He did.
Yeah, good marker and or free kick. So here, the Dogs just haven't really got the energy or the desire to spread. They've got everyone in their back half of the ground, so ideally you're trying to stretch the Hawks' defence. You're trying to find some little holes so that you don't have to do what Karmas has done and go sideways, because you just get stuck going long down the line.
Yeah, which is what Lobb does, and successfully finds Baker on the outer wing. And he'll chip it inboard to Sanders. And he'll go to Karmas, who's at centre half back. They've got numbers on this broadcast side. Bailey Williams in space, takes the mark. We'll put it out to Big English, attacking side of the broadcast wing. Wheels around on the right boot. High ball inside 50 for the Dogs. Fist applied over the top of Sicily by Emmett, and they've coughed it up. Baker takes the mark, 45-degree angle, 30 metres out.
It was Weddle who just hacked that ball. He was being slung and tackled at the same time, just couldn't get enough purchase on that ball, couldn't direct it because of the tackle, and straight to Baker, who wearing the headband before Bailey Smith, but funnily enough, everyone seems to only notice it when Bailey wears it.
The fierce-looking Baker, the mo and the luscious red locks.
He's evolving into a solid performer for the Dogs on the wing. He clearly must have a high work rate.
As he comes in, this one's out to the right, out on the full. Well, him and Bramble have become an interesting couple of players since their arrival at the Dogs.
Yeah, I just wonder if you think about, because I mean we don't really need to worry about the Dogs' top end and their star power, because it's there, it's evident for all to see. Is there more upside to Baker and Bramble, because I think that's where we're talking about whether this team can make the jump from 9th or 10th to 1st.
Yeah.
Is there upside in those type of players?
And you could make arguments for either case, really.
Yeah, and I think maybe this team's success or not will be dictated to by, and that's why Kane has certainly got a view on their top end. My view is, well, because their top end is so good, yet their results are still where they are, you need to look at the other end of the group and the bottom end and the bottom 6 of the players, and perhaps they're not quite where they need to be.
Jones won a free kick, sends it inside 50. English receives the handball on the top of the goal square and curls it through. So the Dogs back out to a 37-point lead, all thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts. English with his first goal of the night. And that, what you were just saying there, JJ, about the difference between those mid to bottom tier players, if you want to class them as that, is why we saw their form fluctuate so much through 2025. You had thumpings galore against the bottom teams, but against the teams around them and the teams above them, they either would really struggle because they just don't have the class to run with those teams, or they just fell out of favour, or they put in a really good result because they were able to get up for it.
Yeah, and look, when the Dogs or any team plays, one of the poorer teams, and the Stars get on top, it's easier for the role players to go along for the ride and get involved and look quite good. But once the Dogs meet a team that can fight fire with fire, that's when the role players are needed. And if they're not up to it, that's when you can be exposed.
As the Dogs worked it inside 50, Croft put it out in front of Jones, who curls it through. He was running towards the canteen in the right forward pocket, and he puts through his third of the night. It's one way of getting a sausage roll if you don't make it all the way to the canteen. 43 points the margin in favour of the Dogs. 15-5-95 to 8-4-52.
He's looked good. Sorry, Coxie, but he's been really, really good in both parts of the game. So clearly 3 goals is a fantastic return, and the Dogs won't be expecting that from him at all, really. If he can be a goal a game performer, that's a really good result. But it's been the defensive stuff, and even that one there was, a 50-50 or a loose ball situation that he was able to be involved in. So he's been really good. He's been certainly one of the brighter spots for them. He plays next week. As far as I'm concerned, they need him. They need that type of player. West is the close to goal small forward, and Jones looks like he can play that high running half-forward role with, Sanders, and Davidson's played a bit of high half-forward. I think Davidson is a really good endurance runner, so he suits that role as well.
Hawks win the free kick. Newcomb got a high tackle. He delivers it to Joel, attacking side of the broadcast wing. So after the Hawks started this term with 2 goals to draw the margin back to 24 points is the closest they've got. They're trying to turn the tap off, and the Dogs up the pressure again, turn things around. So tick over 23 minutes in this third quarter. A holding free kick going the way of the Dogs. Inside defensive 50, Kennedy goes to Williams, left half back.
He's been around for plenty of footy now. 174 games for Williams. Can he have a career best season? I think his last couple of years have been his best. Can he just take that another 5%? I think that's where we're talking when it comes to this team. Richards playing ahead of the footy now, comes up as a mid. So they're 1v1 behind the ball. The Dogs again, probably expect to see them try and get a +0.5.
Richards soccers it forward for the Dogs. Ball trundling inside 50, assisted over the line now, played by Scrimshaw.
So +0.5 is, I'm probably saying some things that sound a little bit silly, but +0.5 is, using your winger so that you've got half a spare, so that you mightn't get back aerially to be the spare, but if the ball hits the ground, we've definitely got the next one back. A lot of clubs, instead of committing a spare behind the ball and giving up a spare to the other team around the ball, it's just, can we get half a body back?
I was laughing because Scrimshaw was appealing for a lasso, but he's failed to read the rules because it was inside 50. As the ball trundles over the line.
Yeah, I don't. Depending on when those laws of the game meetings are, depending on how much sort of concentration you get from players, if they're an afternoon meeting after a big session, you can probably guarantee that a large percentage of your group have chimed out.
Speaking from personal experience there,
No,
Jason?
I really love the laws of the game meetings. I genuinely did, because it's the only time you got to really engage with the game in terms of, well, what about this, what about that. Weddle's playing the ruck now, so they really are having a good look at Weddle in different roles, and it looks like he might even be playing sort of ruck forward, which, having spent some time there, looks very Geelongish, with sort of two ruckmen on the ground at the same time, but one's playing sort of a ruck forward and one's playing as a ruck back.
Chol tries to go short to Morrison. Bontempelli, Sanders got in the way, got a face full of Sharon. Dogs have been able to get the turnover though. Emmett inside 50, Jones on the lead. Beaten in the contest, ball to ground. Sanders still put down behind play. Jones with a battle on his hands. Scrimshaw just pushes it over the line.
Just hope that he's getting up right now.
Right in his cheek it landed on the replay.
Yeah. He probably had. The fact he stayed down for 10 seconds, I mean, I don't understand how that's not straight off.
Yeah. Well, and given that we're going to have the extra people in the arc this year for concussion, maybe that will be straight off.
Well, so for me, if I'm in the arc, he's straight off.
Yeah.
He stayed down. He got hit in the head and he stayed down.
Well, there wasn't a pause in play, but they were a player down behind play. If any of that makes sense.
He's straight off. Now, that's where I would be if I was running the arc.
Ball up centre wing. Dogs will generate the clearance. Liberatore to Sanders. Still on the ground and doesn't seem too phased. There's a nice one-handed grab taken by Impey in defensive 50. 27 travelled third term. Margin sits at 43 points in favour of the Dogs. And Hawthorn hemmed in the left back pocket. Sicily just boots it down the Hawkins wing. Out the back, out of the grasp of Gunston. Takes, trying to push it over the line, a bit scrambly, and eventually it goes over for a boundary throw-in.
I don't think it would worry too many if coaches went out and said, I think three good quarters of footy's enough, but good experience for some of these youngsters, some who haven't played any footy, to run the game out strongly, as we see Weddle and English engage in the ruck again. Weddle got clearance too, which is handy.
He did. Thumps it towards left half forward. High infringement going the way of the Hawks here. It's young Shibbett for them, who was taken a pick 23 in last year's draft.
That's a first rounder, isn't it? The way the draft picks get pushed back.
These days. Sends the ball to the top of the goal square. Chol flew, brought it down into Butler's grasp, and he's able to curl it through. So that's his second goal of the night, Sam Butler.
And a nice finish. We've seen really good finishing from both teams. What have we got? Combined 24 goals, 9. So it's been quite sharp. We haven't really seen too many wasted. In terms of some of the numbers, the super coaches and the fantasy footballers engaged. Sanders has had 26, 14 handball receives, which is a good number, and it's clearly a game high. The next most in terms of handball receives is 8. So he's got 14, which is a really good number. He's had the 5 ground balls as well. Bontempelli's had a quiet 20, kicked a couple of behinds. English has had 20. He's been fantastic, kicked a goal. Kennedy also 20 in for Hawthorn. Newcomb 23.
The Dogs try to run it out of their clearance.
Oh, gee.
And a sling tackle has been awarded against Newcomb on Richards. I didn't see any sort of slinging motion.
No, it's just pure momentum. And I think if the umpire had view from the front side of that contest, he would have pinged Richards earlier for holding the ball. I think there's just the inability for him to see that Richards had the ball in one hand but was being tackled with the other. I think you probably want to blow that whistle quicker and ping him. We'll just give the umpire the benefit of being blindsided, but didn't look enough in it to be a sling tackle.
Richards' kick was off target, out of play, left forward pocket for the Dogs. leading by 37, edging towards three-quarter time. Impey loses control of it. Kennedy claims another ball up.
So this is a forward 50 stoppage for the Dogs. So an example of them getting a +1. That sort of both players try and stand as English. Hello.
He just took it out. Said thank you very much. Found a little bit of space on the right foot. Snaps it across his body from 45 metres out, if you don't mind.
So there's a pros and cons to having Josh Weddle in the ruck. We'll put that as a con. Because English, who's by no means the most powerful and bulky ruckman in the competition, he was just able to shift Weddle there. Weddle just was a little bit of a baby giraffe, just going into the contest without really any awareness of where English was, and not even really any awareness of where the ball up was going to land there. And some finish from English, probably the goal of the night, to be honest, with the way he was able to grab that from the ruck. So again, you know, Sam Mitchell smart enough not to overreact to Weddle getting a goal kicked against him, but again, you know, just okay, will this work? How many times can we afford that to happen? All those sorts of discussions.
It was an unmissable moment drink-wise. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise. He won the clearance here, English, so he's had a good 30 seconds. Watson over the top of Richards, both scrambling for the footy. It's almost back on top of the centre circles. There's a tripping infringement, sliding through leg infringement, going the way of Matt Kennedy for the Dogs, and sends it long inside 50. Oh, English slipped through his fingers. Norton couldn't get any possession either, and Scrimshaw defends it over the boundary line and out of play. Right forward pocket for the Dogs.
So Weddle, to my eye, has at least floated back and played back. He's played forward. He's tagged Bont. He's played mid. He's played ruck. Hasn't played wing, but he does play wing. Just, it's going to be an ongoing conversation about, because he falls into that conversation of, okay, well, he can play everywhere, but where will he play? And when you really need him, where will he play?
Well, then I think it becomes the conversation, where's he's the most dangerous?
Well, I don't know.
I think it's mid-forward.
I'm not. I've got some, and he wins a free kick here in the ruck. He's rucking again. I need to see more from Weddle, and a part of that is, where are they playing him? Are they giving him a chance to succeed? Is he the type of individual that can emotionally handle playing 5 positions? Because not everyone can. So, interesting one.
Yep, well, he's got another 4 years to be able to sort it out, given the contract that he's signed. Three-quarter time here at the Whitten Oval. It's the Western Bulldogs 16-5-101, leading the Hawks 9-4-58. It's a 43-point margin as we turn for home here on AFL Nation.
This is the 2026 AFL Community Series on AFL Nation. Thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
Don't get FOMO this winter. Wait, do the kids still say FOMO? What about 6-7? Is that still a thing? I kicked 6 goals 7 once. Get KO Sports with every game of every round of the 2026 AFL season live and on demand in 4K with no ad breaks during play.
That is incredible!
With all that footy plus the NRL, F1, supercars, netball and all the other sport you love. You won't miss a thing on KO Sports.
Just because you can't see a police car doesn't mean police can't see you not wearing your seatbelt. And it's a significant fine and demerit points if you're caught not wearing one.
Evening driver, license please.
A message from the TAC. Drive safely for everyone.
The NFL season is in full swing. Show your support with the latest drops at nflshop.com.au. NFL Shop has you covered with all the gear you need this season. Jerseys, hoodies, caps, and stocking the latest on-field drops locally for the first time. From NFL Nike rivalries to salute to service, nflshop.com.au has got it covered. Stocking all 32 teams. Head over to nflshop.com.au now and score big today.
Real people, real products, real fun. No matter who you are, Sexyland has something real sexy for everyone. With Australia's biggest range of sexy costumes, lingerie, couples toys and fun gifts and games for adults. Sexyland. 11 stores in Melbourne and Geelong, open till midnight 7 days a week. Or shop online for 2-hour delivery. Sexyland.com.au.
Be captivated this autumn carnival when the All-Star Mile returns to Super Saturday on March 7th at Flemington. This is your chance to own the mile and to experience the race day as an owner while watching the All-Star Mile from the mounting yard. Oh, what I wouldn't give to be in the mounting yard with a horse with some sort of a hope of winning the famous All-Star Mile. You'll also have the chance to win a share of $200,000. The All-Star Mile at Flemington, it's Super Saturday, supercharged. Enter at vrc.com.au/own the mile. T's and C's apply.
What have you got for me, Q?
Ah, well, you're going to love this. It's everything you wanted. New Spectre window tint from Tintercar.
Excellent.
Cooler cabin, total UV protection, advanced nano ceramic tech, and darkest legal for maximum privacy.
Dark enough to keep things private and interesting.
Oh, James.
Upgrade your drive with the new and improved Spectre ceramic film, exclusive to Tintercar.
At State Transport, our people are your solution. With depots in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane and Perth, Australia is covered. Our diverse fleet includes vans, tray trucks, hydraulic tailgates, taut liners, semi-trailers and B-doubles. Whether it's ad hoc, time critical or permanent, it's delivered with speed, safety and compliance. State Transport. One call moves it all. 134 888.
State Transport. Our people are your solution.
Some people say there's more to life than drinks. McCafe's response to that was to make even more delicious new drinks. McCafe, there's a drink for that. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
If you love your footy, don't just watch the game. Get the full picture with Code Sports. Go behind the curtain with the best footy journos in the country. We're talking breaking news, deep analysis, big interviews, and the stories you just won't get anywhere else. From on-field battles to off-field drama, get every angle of the game. Code Sports. Grab the app today.
This is the 2026 AFL Community Series on AFL Nation. Thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
Towards left half forward, Watson takes the mark. He wasn't the initial target. I think it was Morrison that was being searched for, but Watson said, no, I want it.
Yeah, and it's singled hands. He's a long way out. He's going to kick from 51 metres, so it's a good side to arc around and try and pinch a metre or two.
He does arc around a little bit, kick on its way. It's a beautiful kick. Watson gets his first for the night, a long range on a difficult angle, and brings the margin back to 32 points. Jones won a free kick, sends it inside 50. English receives the handball on the top of the goal square and curls it through. The Dogs back out to a 37-point lead. One of English's 2 goals in that third quarter as we welcome you back here to the Whitten Oval. Dogs leading by 43 points as we turn for home on this Friday evening community series matchup earlier today. The D's were leading by 35 points when the game was called off up at Ballarat. And then there's still plenty of action tomorrow. St Kilda and Essendon will be the first game back underway up at Mars at 3:10 Eastern Daylight Time as we're back underway in the middle. Nash gets the handball out to Newcomb, who sends it high towards half forward. Chol flew, bounced off his chest. Hawks scrap it inside 50. Collected by Schubert, gets it across to McKenzie, who delivers. Positive start in the final term for the Hawks. And McKenzie gets his first of the evening to bring it back to a 37-point margin.
I have to get the special comments from you there, because I spent the whole time looking for Josh Weddle just then.
You're on Weddle watch.
Well, I really am, because just so keen to spend 3/4 time with the midfielders. Just so keen to have a look at how they use him and what the plan is, and he might be on the bench at the moment, to be honest. I can't find him. He's not at half back. So
yeah, I think he is on the bench. He's orange on the machine, if that's what that means.
Yeah, well, normally it does. I probably could have looked at that first. Would have narrowed it down for me. But
gave you some great insights during that little 30-second.
No, you did. I could swap roles momentarily. But yeah, just keen to see what they do with him in this last quarter. All the stars for the Dogs are still out there, which is a good sign.
Yeah, including this one, Libba. Sends it up to Croft, who's done some nice things tonight for the Dogs.
I like that little tick lead from him too. Just shows a real natural movement for a key forward. Libba was on his wrong side. He needed that little bailout option, and Croft was there, and he's working his tail off to get back inside 50 and compete on this ball too. So great work rate from him.
West sends it to the top of the square. McGuinness out there for the first time for the Hawks. Gives it to Impey. Who goes to Watson. Nice little fly. He's collided with the turf pretty hard and gives the handball off.
Sensational mark. Really, I mean, outnumbered. That is a sensational mark.
He did incredibly well. Won't get rewarded with a Mark of the Year nomination, though, unfortunately.
No, it's probably reasonable that you can't win it in the pre-season, but you probably should be allowed to win it in the real season. Or in the finals, I should say.
Yeah, Fraser goes the fend off on Hardwick, gives the handball to Jones, who snaps it across his body on the left foot. Doesn't make the distance. West has to compete on the line with Scrimshaw. The Hawks win out. Handball given to Sicily. Evades 2 tackles. Yes. Gets the handball to Impey, who now clears defensive 50 with his kick. Gunston on the lead. Just given a little edge underneath by Karmas, who gets back first to the footy. Gives it up to Bramble. Inboard kick risky to O'Donnell. He lost control of it, and then Mackenzie's able to pick it up, deliver it inside 50. Gunston makes a rare mistake, had to pick up, gives it across to Matt Hill, who's put it out to the right-hand side for a minor score. So a few unfamiliar names from the match so far have suddenly made an appearance for the Hawks. McGuinness onto the ground, Hill onto the ground in this final term.
Hopefully Matt can soon become the most famous Matt Hill in Australia, and if he can, it means he'll be a very good footballer, because the man with the golden voice, he'll be at Flemington tomorrow calling the Group 1 action, and also on AFL Nation this year.
Absolutely.
And on, is he a Fox or 7?
Fox man.
Fox performer. He's an absolute gun operator, Matt Hill. Hopefully this one is too.
Boundary throw in. It ricochets off about 5 fists. Newcomb eventually picks it up. Handball too hot for Mackenzie, who has to lay the tackle on Croft, who did well to get out of trouble. Got the handball to Liberatore. Up and under for Norton. Oh, Jones arriving on the scene at pace. Puts the kick inside, attacking 50. Just trying to buy space. West runs onto it. Was under pressure from Hardwick. Sees the ball over the boundary line and out of play in the right forward pocket.
Mackenzie's in some bother here with a head knock. I think he got collected. He ran into the shoulder of Croft. He's potentially in some in a bit of bother. He came straight off, so whatever he said to the trainer resulted in him coming off the ground.
As Meek attempted to grab it out of the ruck, and eventually they were able to get it to Hardwick, who's clearing defensive 50 with his kick. English went up, didn't take the mark. Selwood.
Nice.
Fed it across to Butterick, who delivers it to Jones, who has been a real live wire this evening.
He has, and I've really enjoyed a few things Butterick's been able to do, and he was pretty good for Gold Coast in the latter half of last year. Saw them play 3 or 4 times live in the back half of the year, and thought he was a really solid performer. So again, we talked about the bottom part of the Bulldogs list. Maybe he's one who comes in and, you know, like for like, if he's the 17th player in their team, like for like versus last year's 17th player, maybe that's a real improvement for them.
As Jones comes in directly in front, 40 metres out. This one's offline and a minor score, so the margin goes back out to 37 points. So I've just noticed on your little device there, JJ, that Nick Watson's also come up in blue.
He just hobbled off after the Specky. Yeah, I think he's just landed on his hip or his back, or he looked okay.
Low oxygen levels potentially. O'Donnell has to retreat after causing the turnover on the centre wing broadcast side. They're now inside defensive 50, the Dogs. Williams with possession. We'll bring it back to O'Donnell at right half back. Just slipped out of his grasp, but there's 20 metres of space around him. No pressure. Gathers, feeds it to Lobb. Up against the boundary line. Goes down to right half forward. Croft. Now, Raz was in front and has won himself the free kick. And elects to go defensively with his kick to Hardwick, who will go short to Bailey McDonald, who goes back to Hardwick, who's given the instructions from the youngsters to go out to the outer side. A little bit humorous.
Good quarter to be a defender, I reckon. Yeah, there's going to be plenty of short kicks and uncontested marks up for grabs.
Sicily, right half back for the Hawks. Short ball to Hardwick, because there's whistles going everywhere at the moment.
Yeah.
Bailey McDonald gives the handball to Nash. Battle pokes it short to Moore. Attacking side of the outer wing for the Hawks. They're trailing by 37 points, and they've trailed all night tonight, Hawthorn. Dogs have led from the word go. Inside 50, though, they go here. McDonald have it up to Hill. To McGuinness, who just floats a wobbler inside 50. Newcomb had 2 to beat. Ball brought to ground. Davidson claimed in the tackle, and it'll be rewarded. Arm was pinned. He was going nowhere. And Butler's going to get an opportunity to kick his third of the night.
He'll be able to leave a little bit of a mark on the coaching staff when they get together on the Hawks play Sunday, the Hawks, I think, or Saturday night, Saturday. How about we just look it
Saturday
up?
twilight.
Yeah, so they'll train Wednesday. Coaches will try and pick the team by Wednesday afternoon. I don't miss the days where you sit around and wait for match committee to finish and get the good or the bad news.
As Butler comes in, he's hooked it out to the left. Bronx cheers from the crowd.
As a young player, you often sort of find a reason to hang around, do a bit of extra recovery, because you're purely just waiting for match committee to finish, so you can find out ASAP whether you're in the team or not.
Dogs on centre wing, burst away through Davidson, finds Bontempelli at right half forward. He was caught by Hardwick. Scrimshaw feeds it to Weddle, who retreats ground with a bounce. Goes across the face of the defensive goal to Battle. Pokes it up the corridor, and it's successful to Ward. Dishes the handball off, and the Hawks are now on the burst. Bailey McDonald off half back, goes towards Lewis, who was engaged with Lobb. Connor McDonald arrived on the scene, as did Fraser, who slaps it away. It's closer to his defensive goal, but had O'Donnell as the outlet. Back to Fraser by hand, and now they can work it clear through Jakes at right half back. And another risky kick, but it pays off. Hines this time feeds it to Davidson. Chain of handballs ends up back in the lap of Hines. Butterick also involved in that chain. Ball at half forward for the Dogs. Liberatore fed it back to Bontempelli. Goes wide to English at left half forward. Evades Meek, and then elects to just retreat ground with the kick to Karmas. It goes inside 50. He made it difficult for Bailey Williams, but he did enough to hold on to it. We'll go back for the set shot on a 45-degree angle, 40 out from home.
Really well worked from the Dogs, even from half back, with it was almost like a half-ground training drill that you'd see that the teams do. Pick the ball up in the back pocket, outnumber at half back, work your way through the middle of the ground, try and get some overlap run, which they got from Bontempelli. His kick just missed the target, and I tell you, Tim English has been able to give Meek the run around tonight. He really has. He's going to end up sort of mid to high 20s for disposals. English, he's at 23 at the moment, so really nice passage of play from the Dogs.
As Williams, he's hooked it out to the left as well.
I love the drills offensively. They sort of call them make them up as you go, or sometimes call them play the game, because I think every time you attack as a team, you're getting a different look. No matter what happens, you're always getting something different every time you chain the ball forward from your back half to your front half, as Butterick takes a an intercept mark. So, you know, the Dogs are just so impressive in the way that they can make the game up offensively and make it look like it is really systematic.
Richards puts it down the throat of Ward, causes the turnover.
I'm sure they've got, you know, a template of what the rules are offensively. You know, there's probably some rules around, you know, when they want to kick it backwards, when you want to kick it long down the line, but they do just seem to have a template in place, and then they allow the clear and obvious talent to do the rest.
The Hawks hold possession at right half back. Have you seen enough or any indication tonight that they've fixed their defensive issues?
To be honest, they haven't been tested. The Hawks haven't really tested them that much. Brisbane will next week, so I'm really looking forward to being there, and particularly at the Gabba, where if you're out of position, you may pay with the ability to access the deep areas of the inside 50 from centre.
There's a nice transition down the broadcast side for the Dogs. Davidson, when searching for Norton, was an ambitious attempt.
And the thing with Brisbane is they can beat you, excuse me, in a couple of different modes. They can take 130 uncontested marks. So if the Dogs don't come to play and aren't really in sync defensively, particularly their first line of defence, so if their forwards aren't defending hard, Zorko and Fletcher and Wilmot and those guys, they will rack up the uncontested marks, and it's almost death by 1,000 cuts. It's the way they took Sydney apart in the first grand final.
Yeah.
It took 30-odd marks in the first quarter, and some of the commentary on TV was, well, they're not doing much with these marks. And I'm thinking to myself, well, Sydney are defending. Eventually, you get sick of that and you're worn out. But Brisbane can also win it in a high contest game with a bit of kamikaze. So it's going to be a really good challenge for the Dogs. I can't wait to see whether they're up to it or not.
Next Saturday night.
I really would be, if I was a Dogs fan, it's probably easy for me to say because I'm not, but if I was, I really would be disappointed if my group couldn't go up there and win the game. And I know that's setting a high benchmark against Brisbane, but don't you think they're right for the picking? Round zero, you know, unfurling the flag, maybe they're just a bit off.
Yeah, there's vulnerability there that can be capitalised if you execute.
It should, again, at the risk of another silly start, it should just mean a little bit more to the Dogs because of what Brisbane have done and what the Dogs haven't been able to do. You just get that feeling.
And you think that they would be spurred on a bit by the way that the year ended last year.
Yes.
As Lobb creates a turnover at half forward to Baker, who sets sail from 49 out and delivers. Oscar Baker kicks his second for the night. And that's just our second goal for the quarter, coming at the 14-minute mark of the final term margin. So it's 17-7-109 to 10-6-66. It's a 43-point margin once again.
Croft looks like he's going to go and take a turn in the ruck now. So it's interesting what the Dogs are going to do with their second ruck. You know, Darcy clearly at his size can do it, but now that it is purely a jumping contest in there. He's had a knee injury already. It was a different type of knee injury, but you know, you'd be hesitant to throw him in.
Yeah.
They don't seem eager to put Norton in there. Croft's in there at the moment, and he's a jumping. I was just about to say he's going to be a jumping back against Mabior Chol, who can be a really impressive centre bounce leaper. I mean, talk about some of the teams that some of the players that are going to be suited by that rule. He is one.
It's run down. Nice tackle there from Chol on Fraser. Weddle takes the advantage for the Hawks. Inside 50. It's too much on it in the end, and Lobb ensures that Karmas can break clear. Williams out to Selwood, who's been largely impressive tonight for the Dogs as part of this defensive setup. Donald's cut off as they tried to go across the face of goal. Watson elects to play on. No, I think he's going to be called back because the umpire had called time on or off, whatever it's called, and the Watson had to go back over the mark. So he played on, he put it through, but it's all redundant.
Yeah, I think he called time off, but we're not yet in time on, which I wish we were in time on. But
because you want time off.
Yeah, time to end. But it's been a relatively good game. It's been a pretty good hit out. The Dogs have strutted their stuff. I'm still very impressed with the way the oval has been mowed here.
This is Watson now snaps and scores his second for the night. And brings the margin back to 35 points, which is where it's largely hovered for most of the match tonight.
Bit of a flex from the curator here at the Whitten Oval.
Well, it's not too often that you get to be put on the main stage.
And I'll tell you what, it looks magnificent. It's as good as a surface as you will see anywhere. The surface at the Barossa is of this standard. I was there for gather round last year. Incredible surface that is as well.
Lions will be heading back out there again.
I think they're at Norwood this year, so they're getting ever so. I think they're at Norwood.
Oh, I thought they were heading back with North.
F1 car in the car park, but I'll have a look.
As Bontempelli tried to release Fraser, just fell at his shin. Fraser went with the soccer inside 50 and beat West, who had to clamber back. Fraser kept going, tries to wheel around on the right, and he's put it over the netting. It's a minor score. The kids are flocking to it behind the goals, trying to run away with it. Out the back as Cam McKenzie's going through a test in the rooms. It's just flashed up on the scoreboard here, so concussion issues potentially for Cam McKenzie.
Yeah, it did look at. So yeah, I mean he's at risk of missing next week. The game's clearly inside 12 days, so it's a bit of a setback. They do have plenty of that type of player, but you want to go in with your very, very best. GWS have been hammered by injuries. Weddle looks like he's back in a midfield role.
Yep. Pounds just beat him there to attempt to win that clearance. Dogs did win it to half forward. Scrimshaw turns it into half back, gives the handball off to Mraz, running past, finds Newcombe at centre half back.
He's been really good. The new co-captain, possession 26.
Weddle drops the mark on top of the centre circles, had to put on a bit of pace, and then the handball was too much for D'Ambrosio.
Handballed it to the CBD.
He did. He got it back, did Weddle, put it towards half forward. Williams cut it off. Davidson receives the handball. And there's too much on it for Jones, who was off the ground attempting to trap it in. Mraz is able to pick it up for the Hawks. Pops it over the top to Battle.
Just 3 disposals for Mitch Lewis tonight, so far from prolific. So there's a bit of a tick. You know, the forwards have been able to get a hold of the Dogs from time to time, and tonight Lewis has been kept to just 3 disposals, so good result for Lobb and O'Donnell.
And I'd put Karmas into that group as well. He's really shone in that key defensive role tonight.
I mean, I think ideally they'd love to have Karmas as their primary defender, if you like, against the best forwards, so that Lobb and O'Donnell can come and assist in the air. The problem is they've had too many games where the air assist hasn't had time to get there, and that individual defender has been left on an island. Dilthorpe kicked a bag at Marvel Stadium against them in a high-scoring contest. We've just seen too many forwards get off the chain.
Riley West has a shot for goal, 45 out, directly in front, but goes out to the left, so another minus score.
Sure whether Carl Amon is where he's at in terms of his management. I think he's got some knee soreness. There are 6 Hawthorn staff members beside me, so you might be able to get an answer on that. But I believe he's carrying a bit of knee soreness. Amon, he's really important for them in the back half as well. So if got a little bit of upside in terms of personnel, even if they lose McKenzie.
Meek caught, and then it stacks on centre wing here. So Amon missing. Grass is expected to come back. Reeves and Deere didn't play tonight. And
Reeves mustn't have played in the VFL either, because he was strolling around in the tracksuit.
I'm not 100% sure, but
it changed very quickly.
I was a bit curious though, the fact that they didn't want to experiment a half with Meek, a half with Reeves.
Yeah.
A little more.
I mean, maybe they know. Maybe they know what I think I know, and that it's just not. Because there's also that element of, yeah, we might do it, we might do it not. We might do it so that, you know, other clubs spend time on it and consider it, and do we have to come up against it? But in reality, I don't think it'd be a wise way to go about it.
Richard sends it to the top of the square for the Dogs. Jones arrives, shut down by Sicily, McGuinness, D'Ambrosio, Impey, Weddle. Still inside defensive 50. Handballs to Meek, who's flat-footed at half-back. Oh, and he misjudged. Impey, Fraser falls over. That's out on the full, and it'll be a free kick to Impey.
So the Meek and Reeves discussion, as the ball goes out of the bounds, the teams who play two ruckmen, who are considered ruckman first, Fremantle, but Jackson we know is a different animal.
Yep.
St Kilda are going to do it. You know, that's going to have to work itself out. But De Koning is quite a, you know, he's a really explosive athlete. Marshall can get forward and he runs really well as well. So, you know, Grundy and Gawn tried it. Too similar. Both needed to be in the ruck the whole game. You know, that Collingwood went away from Cameron and Cox to give Cameron the full run at it. So there aren't really, I mean, Brisbane did it, but Brisbane had Fort and McInerney because they had injuries to others, and they almost, I mean, maybe in a way they felt obliged to Big O to give him that opportunity, and they had that much talent on the rest of the competition. They got away with it, but you know, I don't know. I didn't like the look of Carlton when they had De Koning and Pitnet in the team. Didn't like the look of Essendon when they had Goldstein and Draper in the team, or Goldstein and Vicentini, or Goldstein and Bryan. So I don't know. I just can't see it.
As the Hawks were able to cause the intercept inside defensive 50 through Sicily. The other point I think you made earlier tonight regarding the balance, they looked far better without the extra tall in Deere in the team, and without the extra ruck. So to have Lewis, Gunston and Chol as the three talls that they've gone with tonight.
Yeah. And you have got the other flexibility that Hawthorn have got is Weddle can go back and Sicily can go forward.
Yep. Or vice versa.
And if you've got too many, if you've already got a surplus of talls, you can't really spin them around at that point. So
particularly if they're all not getting their hands on the footy, if they're all having a quiet night.
Yeah, oh, catch that.
Yeah, Meek's just unloaded it. Went higher than the light tower, that drop punt.
NFL punt.
And English has just fisted it away. Hines dumps the kick towards centre wing broadcast side. Battle's claimed by Croft, who's I think he should play next week. I'm putting my flag in the ground for that.
Probably a good headache for them to have. They'll go away and think about it all week, I reckon. What do they do? You know, he might have a roll on a Harris Andrews, maybe.
As Newcomb tried to go the fend off, got pinned by Richards. And didn't give the ball back. Dogs fans want the 50-metre penalty. They're not going to get it. As we're closing in on the final siren of this Community Series game. Dogs 17-9, 111, leading Hawthorn 11-6, 72. Matt Kennedy sends it long, back inside attacking 50 for the Dogs. Racing out the back. Bontempelli keeps his feet. Over-shoulder handball to West. Delivers it to Norton, who runs into the open goal. So that puts the margin back out to 45 points. And that was Norton's second goal.
Yep, yeah, must slow to update, but 11 disposals and a couple for Norton, both his goals from that same goal square. So won't get much in terms of metres gained for those two, but the crowd have seen enough too. They're dispersing. So it's been a good night here at the Whitten Oval. It's lived the entire tournament, if you will, as it's really lost its way in terms of what it once meant, the pre-season competition. And when I started, there was my first year in Adelaide. We won the tournament and won a trophy and medals and whatnot. But it's a long way from that now.
Still a nice vibe though to come here with your mates.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, as a player, I'm never really in love with going and playing at Noarlunga in South Adelaide, or I think when you still get access to state-of-the-art facilities, and I know that's something AFLW players have talked about a lot. It's not. He's a talent, Nick Watson.
Yep, taking another
one-hander.
Pretty good mark on left half forward for the Hawks.
I think he might, Watson, have. It's a great kick from Moore in the new number. Still looks a little strange, doesn't he? So established in the 13.
Yeah. It's going to make it confusing when he does play.
It is. Yeah, I think Watson's going to have the most spectacular marking attempts maybe ever. Whether he marks it or not, who knows? But yeah, I think whenever you get access to the state-of-the-art facilities, and because preparation and recovery is so important, and that's probably a factor for these players. But I mean, you couldn't ask for any better conditions tonight.
As Butler on the full-time siren goes out to the left, and it'll be a minus score. So the final margin will be 44 points. The Western Bulldogs, the victors in this Community Series matchup. So the final score, 18-9, 117. Hawks 11-7, 73. In what was a solid but not spectacular performance from either team. The Dogs will be happy to have generated the win. As we see prior to the match, set the tone for the season for them, and Hawthorn will be disappointed with the way the scoreboard reflects their performance tonight, but there was moments that you can attribute some service. I don't think you go away absolutely deflated, would you, JJ?
No, I don't think so. They showed a bit after half-time. I thought the third quarter was pretty good. They just played the game in their half and they played some good footy in a different fashion. So I think that was a good result. Just having a look at the champion data list. So Cam McKenzie is listed in blue, which clearly is an injury concern, and we know that's likely a head knock, so that's a TBC for him. But we referenced the Riley Sanders Falcon that he copped earlier in that last term, and he stayed out there for some time, but I'd say the vision is quite damning on him, and he's now listed in blue as well. He's had 26 disposals in the game, but
and I can't see him anywhere out there either, JJ.
Yeah, so that's going to be an interesting one, and they are the last things you want from the fourth quarter of your last practice match. So if they're both concussions, clearly into the protocols, and both boys will miss their first game. So yeah, because Nick Watson was blue and then clearly came back on, so he's showing up as all good on our screen. So not necessarily, if you're driving around and you're a Bulldogs fan, we're not necessarily trying to alarm you, but we saw it in real time, and he stayed down for, I think maybe part of it was, that little bit of, when you cut one in the guts and you just lay there sort of thing, did that just happen? Maybe some of it was that, but the fact that he stayed down, I think he had to come off and get tested. I'd say that's what's happened. So that's not to say he might pass that test with flying colours and he's all good to go, but it's probably looking not as good for Mackenzie, who came straight from the ground. But anyway, that's a watch for both players, and Tim English is getting the post-game interview with the broadcaster. 23 disposals and 2 goals, if you don't mind, for Big Tim. So he's had a good night.
And he's had
the office.
He's had good seasons, but they haven't been as good as, 2023 when he was setting the world alight and in the conversation.
Yeah, I thought he was better. I thought he was better last year. He reminds me a little bit of a teammate I played a lot of footy with Sam Jacobs. When you think of a ruckman, you think of bash and crash, and you think of physicality, and Sam got the job done, and he got the job done with craft and endurance, and he would beat you over the course of a game. He wouldn't, you think about, say, a Sam Draper or a Tom De Koning, they'd probably beat you in moments, with big explosive moments that might get the crowd up and going, but English just works you over and uses his ability to run forward and get back and help out, and I think the centre bounce throw up's going to help him with his leap and his size. He's 205, 206 with great athleticism. We saw what it's been able to do for Mabior Chol. He's going to be a real handful for when the second rucks are both in there. Chol against, we saw what he did to Croft. He's going to be a real weapon as well. So I think teams, and there's been a bit of a rise in scoring from centre bounce in the pre-season competition. I'd expect to see that come back a little bit. I think clubs will, coaches still are as keen to stop a goal as they are to score a goal. So I think you'll see that just come back a little bit. But all in all, the game tonight was a good example of what we want the games to look like moving forward. No silly free kicks in terms of what we've seen in the ruck. No real howlers in terms of the other rules either. So pretty clean game.
Yep, solid performance, solid hit out. 18-9, 117, the Western Bulldogs defeating the Hawks 11-7, that's 73, a 44-point margin. 3 goals to Jordan Croft and Artie Jones tonight, 2 apiece to Baker, Riley West, Tom Liberatore, Aaron Norton and Tim English, and singles to Sam Davidson and Joel Fraser, while for the Hawks, 2 apiece to Watson and Butler, 3 to Gunston, all in the first half, and then singles to Mitch Lewis, Cam McKenzie and Jack Ginnivan to round out the goal kickers tonight here at the Whitten Oval. So that concludes a day of action that had a bit of everything today. Thunder and lightning up in Ballarat, 2 pauses for the Melbourne and Richmond game, which ultimately saw the game called off halfway through the third quarter. Melbourne leading by 35 points there, and our fellow commentators just, they needed a bit of assistance just to help them through the last half hour. So
I think we can bill them for the extra half an hour we gave them, but
you can.
I'm buttering up for, I've got the double header on Sunday. I've got
North Collingwood.
Yes, North, thank you.
And then Eagles Port.
Yes. Quick trip out west for me.
Yes. Using that magic tunnel that we've got from the SEN studios.
Yep. So no, it's good it is good to get your eyes on. I think personally, it's great to see these teams at least once before the real stuff happens. You only see so much on TV, particularly at a different ground. But being here live tonight, and you get a look at a couple of plays you've never seen before, never seen Mraz in the flesh before, like what he was able to do. And again, it was great to see that clearly the Dogs are going to be offensively as good as the competition has to offer.
Yep, the question though remains around the defensive pressure, and we didn't get to see that tonight a great deal. And then the other question mark is, have they been able to improve that bottom tier of players?
Yeah. And look, Dogs fans are going to get, I think, sick to death about hearing it, but
that's what the difference is.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the, if they were a team who lost the prelim final. Now, Hawthorn, I think we're talking about. Now, some people think Hawthorn can win the flag. I don't quite have them there.
Well, when you think about it, there was a game that separated these two teams at the end of last season.
And that's maybe in part why Dogs fans have a right to be, oh, come on, we're not that far away.
But I think you can have the same conversation with Hawthorn, because we're still trying to find out what their middle to bottom tier players can offer.
I have that same view about Hawthorn and expressed it tonight around, sometimes your greatest strength can be a weakness, and that is, I think, maybe a weakness, the flexibility. Are they too flexible? Weddle played here, there and everywhere, and McDonald and McKenzie and these guys are, doing bits and pieces roles. Just wonder about, third quarter of a prelim final or first quarter of a prelim final when Geelong flex their muscles. Whose magnet are you grabbing, are you reaching for to say, okay, this guy's going to stem the tide? Because Newcomb's going to stem the tide, but who else?
Yeah,
he's going to stem the tide. And when you need to stem the tide, it's around the ball.
And not only that, who backs themselves in, because it's all good that they've got the ability to be able to do that, but in a high-pressured moment...
Yeah, that's right.
Do you have the confidence, because you've been playing so many different roles, do you actually have the confidence that you can execute and deliver what's required?
That's right. And it's largely about who is around the ball, because James Sicily's your captain, yeah, sure, but you don't want James to be the one having to try and stem the tide, because that means the ball's coming in again and again and again. And if you're asking him to take intercept marks and try and control the game in that way, that's difficult for him to be able to do. So that's why the game is, all the awards are won by the midfielders. That's why, because the game is currently, in its current format, is built for midfielders to be the most impactful players in the game. So that's my query on the Hawks. The Dogs have got an electric midfield, but their deficiencies lie in perhaps what the midfield doesn't do, not necessarily what it does do, whereas Hawthorn, we're talking about, are they just a body or a body and a half short?
And I'm just having a little chuckle because there's plenty of young fans that are wanting to go out for a kick of the footy that haven't been able to do so. Well, however, it has been breached underneath the scoreboard.
It has. No, well, it says on the scoreboard that they are going out. So,
but you've got to wait for the siren, and we haven't heard the siren.
Might as well blow it now. There's 60 kids on the ground.
Yeah, and... everywhere else has been breached. Yep, it's all in.
65 an hour for the security guards. Not money well spent.
No.
They haven't stopped us all.
They
are effectively turnstiles.
They may as well clip the ticket to go out there. Might even be hard to get them to do that. Final score here at the Whitten Oval. A 44-point margin in favour of the Western Bulldogs. Community Series action continues here on AFL Nation tomorrow afternoon from 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The Saints and the Bombers to kick off the action up at Ballarat, and then the Dockers and the Crows will hear your dulcet tones on Sunday, JJ.
Yes, double header. 8 more quarters until the real stuff.
Yes. We look forward to your company when it all gets underway tomorrow afternoon here on AFL Nation.
This is the 2026 AFL Community Series on AFL Nation. Thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
The SEN app is now compatible with Apple Watch, so you can listen on the go, anywhere, anytime. Download it today.
Thanks for your company. To those of you waking up to us at 7 o'clock, we've got a big couple of hours coming up on Fireball, but let's get straight into our next guest. He's been good enough to join us at a busy period for Signet. Life's never flat when you power every moment with a Signet power bank. Signet.com is the AFL footy boss. His name is Greg Swan. Swanee, thanks for your time.
Hey, Kane, how are you?
Well, good. And you're into it, and there's been some criticisms and some controversies already.
Easy now.
How have you seen the new rules, particularly the ruck rule, Swanee?
I think they're okay. I think that's the one, though, where we've had most feedback from clubs and, can we do this, can you do that? But I think in the main, the clubs are pretty well adapted to it. So, so far so good.
So you're not worried about the knee injuries, knee on knee, and is there anything you need to do to tighten up just the lack of confusion, maybe a line across the centre circle to make it a bit easier to adjudicate?
Yeah, we did that yesterday. So we did put some lines across. So I think that helped. Obviously, the first night, we had the AAMI logo. So we, given AAMI a pump, so we can't sort of put the line straight through the logo, but we've sort of worked on some things yesterday which I think helped. And look, the knee on knee, I mean, there was that shin, on Thursday night, but yeah, it wasn't a knee, so hopefully that doesn't happen too often, if at all. So, but again, that's part of playing footy. You get injured playing in all sorts of spots. So hopefully, I understand that. When you're jumping at each other, but the game last night, they pretty much jumped all night. The various ruckmen there, so it went pretty well yesterday.
Swanee, I love the fact you've come in and you've made change. I think the game needed a little stimulus, and you've done that. Are you concerned about the Brodie Grundy move last night to step around, take possession? That's not really what you want to see the game become, or not?
Yeah, no, that's an interesting one. We will have a chat about that one. I'm probably glad he did it in the practice games rather than the home and away, but we can have a chat. I mean, look, I think our overarching thing is for people in the main to jump at the footy. So if you don't jump at the footy, what does that mean? But again, if you're looking at the letter of the law, he didn't do anything wrong either. So we'll have a chat about that with the umpires, and just because every week we've been getting clips of various games and sending them out to the club saying this is right, this is not right, and so we've just kept working on it. But I mean, fundamentally, it's start on your side of the line and jump at the footy. That's sort of what we want to see happen. So but again, there's variations. I mean, not everybody. You don't have to jump. You can stand and try and get a tap out. But I mean, I think from what we've seen, if you don't jump, you're going to be at a disadvantage. So, I did see that one yesterday. That was it's probably one we didn't contemplate, but anyway, we'll have a look at it and see where we go.
If you're not liking the way that it's going, it's very, very early. We haven't even had opening round yet. We haven't even hit the season proper. So we're just seeing teams try some things. Would you be brave enough to admit an error at some point in the season? How deep in the season could you look at, okay, this hasn't worked, we're making a change, or we're going back to where we were? Is that something that in the back of your mind you're thinking, okay, there'd be a point in the season where we could revisit it, or is this just as is for the year?
Oh, no, look, I've got an attitude that you're always looking at it. I mean, if there was a pandemic of PCLs, say we ended up with 20 of them or something, you'd say, oh, hang on, gee, this isn't what we want. But as far as the rule itself goes, no, we want to keep it in, for as long as we can, because, I mean, I know what you said, that there's a bit of controversy about it, but we've got a lot of really, really positive feedback about, this is what we want. We want people jumping at the footy, and we want, I think the other thing that comes with it, there seems to be, on our data, that there's more scores out of centre bounce too, because you can, the guys that can get up and palm it properly, they're hitting their mids on the fly, and and they're getting the ball out a lot cleaner than perhaps they were last year. So there's a whole lot of things that come with it if we can implement it properly.
There's an obsession, clearly, for the ball to always be in motion and to speed up the game. Are you confident that's a good thing, Swanee?
I think so. I mean, look, there's still room for, defence, obviously, and, a Dower game, 11 versus 10 goal game. But, I mean, in the main, we do. Look, we made no apologies. I mean, all the changes are predicated on trying to make the game quicker, trying to reduce the dead time and make it easier for the umpires to umpire. So that was the impetus for the rule changes, and we've seen there was a few 50s last night for the non-stand, but in most of the games there's hardly been any. So the players are pretty good at adapting, and again that just frees the ball for a short 45, or guys coming past for a handball, that again to get the ball moving quicker, and I think that's worked quite well. But so again the players have worked really hard with it. We've had a lot of umpire visits over the summer to the various clubs, and working on the new rules. So everybody's been working hard at it, and so hopefully as the season approaches, we can we don't see too many of them, but there will always be some. But I think they've adapted really well.
I've got one way to get back 20 seconds after a goal, Swanee. Just have a chat with Channel 7, get them to cut their heads back from 50 seconds to 30. I'm sure they'll all take a pay cut for that, for the greater good of the game, and just get us rolling. That'll save us minutes. Can you sort that out for us?
I'll have to talk to Kane about that. He's in charge down there.
A serious one. I want to know where you sit. St Kilda v Brisbane, the coaching / back office clash that's going on how you rebuild, how aggressive you've got to be. Where do you sit as the AFL General Manager of Footy? Do you like what St Kilda have done? Do you think that that's where the game's going? Or do you think that we should do other methods, as Fags is sort of alluding to?
Oh, no, I think, to be honest, everybody, so long as you're within the salary cap, you can do whatever you like. And the Saints have taken a path that, is, pretty aggressive, but, as, they're within the salary cap, and that's the way they've chosen to go. They've obviously attracted some, free agents and things like that. So, look, and they've paid some decent money to do it, but again, so long as they're within the cap, they can do it. And I think it's one of the great intrigues actually of how that works this year. Actually, I was out there yesterday. I went out to have a chat to a few of the boys at the Saints, and they're in pretty good shape. They're pretty healthy, and they're pretty bullish as everybody is at this time of year on the season. And with that first game against the Pies, that's heading up to a huge crowd, and I think a lot of it's to do with what's happened in the pre-season and over the off season about them becoming competitive and trying to get into the finals. So I think it's each to their own, to be honest.
Greg Swan's the footy boss of the AFL. Swanee, I look at the Western Bulldogs, for example. I see Sam Darcy's on the injury report. It says general soreness with no time frame of when he's returning. How long are you going to allow clubs to take the mickey out of this and the lack of transparency with injuries when he would be a favourite for the Coleman? There'd be betting on round one. He is the best player or top 5 player in the game, and all we've got is general soreness and tests. Now, the Dogs aren't the only one that do it, but are you going to crack down on it?
Hasn't been on the radar, but
do you think it should? Like, you follow American sport, we get real-time updates of in-game injuries.
Yeah, I think that's been pretty good. I mean, even just watching some of these games the last few nights and days, the clubs are trying to tell people that he's got a caught calf and he's not coming back, and he's rolled an ankle and won't come back. I think, look, whether we legislate for that, I mean, I was aware of that yesterday. I didn't realise that he wasn't playing this week until yesterday. But again, it's something we can have a look at. I'm not massive on doing it for the betting companies, but I think for the general public's probably, where that's at. That's probably
but it's I mean, if the game takes a lot of money from wagering. That's the integrity of the game. So that's the reason I brought that up. Like, it's pretty important, I would have thought.
Yeah, I mean, look, they might come out today when they're playing tonight, and fill the people